Wrestling Omakase brings you a full course meal of all of Japanese wrestling, men's and women's. Join me, a Japanese wrestling fan for over 20 years, along with a rotating cast of equally knowledgeable co-hosts as we cover everything from New Japan and Stardom to Noah, All Japan, DDT, Tokyo Joshi, Marigold, Sendai Girls, Dragon Gate, GLEAT, Ice Ribbon, and even more stuff. If you're a fan of Japanese wrestling and you want coverage of the entire scene in one podcast, check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network each and every week. Get us wherever you get podcasts today.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Welcome back, everyone, to Wrestling Omakase. It is episode number 294, and this week, pleased to be joined by a returning guest. Hello, John Bivins.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Pretty bad, actually, as I just told you. Mostly fucking for sports reasons, but I'm going to try to do my radio voice and pretend I'm not deeply annoyed by baseball and hockey and every other goddamn thing people play with sticks and balls and pucks and shit. Rangers dropped 2 fucking spots in the draft lottery. The Blue Jays can't stop fucking losing in 7,000 different ways, even though their stats say they shouldn't be this bad. And, like, they blew that game seriously right before we started recording. I'm like, I wasn't even watching because I had to finish the fucking New Japan show. I just remember thinking to myself, I'm going to look down at my phone, they're going to be losing to Tampa now. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, blew that game in the 8th inning. Like, okay. I think now 3 in a row they've lost. They're like fucking 4 games under 500. I'm just like, I mean, your baseball team's doing great.
They are. I haven't watched a game all season, so.
Well, I mean, I've watched lots of games and they just keep losing. So, who's the clown here? Not just Jake Lee, also me. But yeah, other than that, I'm also just kind of annoyed that I couldn't get through all the stuff that I wanted to cover for this show. But you know, life happens. Because obviously, for people, you can see what's in the title. Obviously, there's no Noah. We're missing one of the 2 All Japan shows. I don't think I ever got to. I don't know if I ever even found Actress Girls, but yeah, I mean, it's just like there's the Noah Sumo Hall show. That's a really big show. We're going to cover it next week, and same thing with the Champion Carnival Night 8 that we didn't get to. That I didn't get to. You got to it, I think. That I didn't get to because this weekend was kind of crazy for me. I mean, I had like I don't know. There's like a family thing that happened, and then on top of that, you know, I had the sake tasting thing on Thursday, which was awesome. To try to like channel how great that was to like stop being in such a bad mood. And I had my birthday party on Saturday, and then there was like 5,000 wrestling shows, and I was like just kind of hung up. Like they all happened as we were just talking about off the air, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I was just I was really hungover Sunday. Well, not hungover. I don't really get hungover. Just really, really tired mostly. And you know, I don't know. And I just couldn't get through it. I kept thinking I was going to get through it all yesterday and today, and then my job that pays me money like actually wanted me to do work. Very rude of them, but so I couldn't get through nearly as much as I thought I would. But hey, we got through some of it. So, or I got through some of it. I should stop saying we. So yeah, and plus the stuff I just watched, I didn't think was very good either. So that's also doesn't help my mood either because I didn't think the New Japan stuff was very good this week. So there's one match that was awesome, but the rest of it, I just was like, I was very underwhelmed That is for sure. So we'll talk about that stuff. But there was some stuff I really liked. Uh, Mostly like Tokyo Joshi, actually. DDT too a little bit, and All Japan actually. But yeah, the New Japan, I thought they were having a really good year up until this point, but I don't know, like some of the shit they've been doing really caught up to them, I think, and on these Dontaku shows. Um, but yeah, I guess that's what's going on with me. What's going on with you? Hopefully, you're in a better mood than me.
Like, so I'm in a better mood now. I'm actually going through the process right now of like trying to stop smoking for the first time in like 6 years. So like my irritability has been like off the charts, like at nights through the week. Like for some reason, that's when it's like the worst is like at nights. But I don't know. I'm doing pretty solid right now. I'm in good spirits.
Yeah, I'm not saying this just to taunt you, but it is kind of weird that to me when I hear other people say how hard it is to quit because like I've never had a problem going like days or even weeks without smoking. I don't know what it is. Like I can smoke when I want to, especially like when I'm drunk or just when I go on vacation for some reason. I always want to smoke. I guess because I'm enjoying myself. But then I come home and I don't smoke in my own house really, unless I like if I drink I smoke, but that's pretty much it. And I could very easily go without it for a long time. So I don't know. Then I always hear other people talk about how hard it is to quit, and I'm like, I just smoke and don't smoke. I just go on and off. I don't know. So I'm sure it's stupid. I'm sure I should probably just stop doing it then. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, like the difficulty depends on like how much you're like into it
Uh huh.
because like I started out the same way that I feel like everybody like starts out where like you don't smoke and then you're around somebody that smokes and they're like, "Hey, do you want to try it?" And then you do. And then you're like, "Oh, this is good." And then like something happens and you get stressed out and you're like, "Oh, I want to smoke like all the time now." And then
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. When I'm
yeah,
stressed, that is the other. That is always the other time when I smoke. Actually, is when I'm stressed. Like I kind of want one right now because I'm so fucking pissed about stupid fucking sports. But
yeah. Well, so like I was on and off a smoker for like a couple years and then like I switched over to like the nicotine like pouches and stuff, like the Zens and stuff like that. And so like I think like the average like cigar because like that's what I usually smoke is like Swisher Sweets or like a Black and Mild or something like that. Those have like around like 6 milligrams of nicotine, and so you get this bright idea of like, oh, well, like I want to stop smoking. So I'll just do like the nicotine packs instead. And that's how they get you on those because they make those with like 9 and up like milligrams of nicotine. Like they make them with like smaller amounts too. But like you build up, like if you're smoking like a cigar that's got like 6 milligrams of nicotine, if you want to feel like anything off of that, then you get the one like the little pouches with like 9 milligrams. And
mm-hmm.
so like you start doing those, and how they get you is like it's so much easier to do pouches than it is to do smoking because like you can't smoke inside, obviously. But like if you're working or whatever, like you can just pop in like a little like 9 milligram like pouch of nicotine. And so then like before you know it, like you blink and you're just consuming like so much nicotine a day because it's like so easy. So yeah, it just becomes like a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel bad because it's like everybody always has such a hard time quitting. And I'm like, I can just like not smoke whenever I want. Really. I mean,
Well, I envy you. It's a process for the rest of us.
all right, folks. So the abrupt cut there was because I accidentally doxed the Voice of Wrestling Discord user Armani Shoe Exchange, who I know is a listener too. So you would have heard it if I left it in for sure. But of course, I would have cut it out no matter what. Um, because like I got a email pop up about a Venmo transfer, right? And I just was so surprised because I in my head I wasn't expecting any money, and I just read out the full name like of the person who did the transfer, and then I'm like, who the fuck is this? It has to be some kind of scam or something because I remember hearing about like PayPal transfers that are fake, right? That was a scam that was going around for a while, where
Yeah,
like
yeah,
some you get like a transfer request for money, and then you like transfer the money, and then it would turn out it was not real, and they'd take it back basically, and that's how they would get paid. But like, I could not for the life of me think of anyone owing me, like $57 or what it was that he just sent me, and so I was just like trying to figure it out. And then then Armani messaged me on Discord. He's like, just sent you the money for the Korakuen ticket. I'm like, oh yeah, I bought him this the New Japan Road to G1 Korakuen in June. I bought 2 tickets through my fan club membership, and through the ticket lottery, and completely forgot that A, that I'd even bought him a ticket, and B, that he owed me the money or anything. Like, I just completely spaced on it. Because in my head, I'm thinking, like, who the fuck owes me? First of all, who is this? Because I did not know Armani's real name until now. I guess now I know. And B, I mean, like, who owes me this money? Like, I could not think of anyone owing me money for a ticket for anything. I'm like, I bought my friend Rich, different from the Voice of Wrestling Rich, but different Rich, a Yankees Blue Jays ticket that I'm now immensely regretting going to 2 of those games, given how the fucking Blue Jays and Yankees seasons are going. But like, yeah, but I'm like, he paid me that already, and his name is not X. So I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm like, finally, then he DMs me, and I'm like, okay. So I'm glad he brought. First of all, thank you to Armani for bringing some levity over what an idiot I am, because at least that actually cheered me up a little bit for what a bad mood I was in. But yes, I mean, I just could not think of who owed me money, B, who this was, and C, what this was for. But we've answered all 3 questions, so there you go. But yes, I accidentally doxed him, so I had to go take that out, which was funny. But yeah, so I forget what we were talking about before the accidental doxing. Something about you're trying to quit smoking. That's right. Yes, yeah. And I was like, by the way, I can smoke all I want. I never have to quit. So, I mean, which is stupid. I probably should just fucking quit. I mean, everybody tells me this, and I'm just like, but I don't know. I really like smoking when I'm drunk and when I'm in Japan for some reason. So, and like Vegas. So I don't know.
I think you're okay to keep doing it as long as, like, if you never smoke like back home, like, keep it up, Like,
yeah,
doing it like 2 or 3 times a year is not bad.
No, it's not that. That's not. I shouldn't, like, that's underplaying it. So whenever I drink, so it's like more like a few times a month.
That's not every day though.
No,
I feel like that's when it's the problem, is when it's like, oh, I wake up and I have to.
Yeah. The peak I think I ever smoked, because my dad just quit recently, which is great for him, and he was like a 2-pack a day smoker. I think the peak I ever smoked, even when I would smoke every day, it would take me like a week to a week and a half to go through a pack. So I was never that heavy of a smoker. And now it takes me for quite a long time. Like, I got a carton when I went to Japan, and it took me, now we're in like May. It took me like 4 months to get through the carton. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So like, it does take me, like, I finally had to buy American cigarettes last week because I finally got through the carton. So yeah, it took me 3.5 months, I guess, to get through the carton. So, and I smoke more when I'm at my dad's too, because he used to smoke indoors, and the whole house smells like it, so it really makes me want one. But other than that, I don't really smoke much at all. But I should probably just quit though. So I'm talking. Maybe John Bivins quitting will be the extra push I need. My girlfriend will love it, which will give you lots of credit too. But not before Japan though, because I got it. Smoking in Japan is fucking great. First of all, because you can smoke indoors lots of places still, which is it's getting different actually. Like, you can't do it quite as many places as you used to, but it is kind of cool just to be able to be like, I don't know. There's places in America too where you can do that still, right? Like, light up in a bar or something.
Yeah, and like a couple like hotels and stuff like allow it, because I know I stayed in one like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, oh my god, like, that's allowed? Like, that feels wrong to be in a hotel room and be able to like smoke.
Yeah, they have that in Japan too at some hotels still. Vegas too. I don't know if they do in Atlantic City anymore. They definitely you can still smoke in the casinos in Atlantic City, but you can't smoke. I don't know if you can still smoke in rooms anymore. I don't know if they have smoking rooms. Japan definitely has smoking rooms, which is funny because I think I told the story on the air, but one of the rooms I was staying in was a solo smoking room, and I really didn't book that many of them because even as someone, again, who smokes a little bit, the smell in there gets intense for me. So I really only booked it like a couple nights here or there. But I forgot that I was in because I was in so many non-smoking rooms, I forgot I was in the smoking room that night. So when I invited like 3 people, including our frequent co-host, up to the room to drink sake with me, I totally forgot it was a smoking room when I opened the door. The face they all made was hilarious. I was like, oh, I forgot this is a smoking room. All right, let's take the sake bottle outside like good degenerates here. Because Japan, again, you smoke on the street. I mean, you can drink on the street. You can't smoke on the street, actually. You can drink on the street. There's no such thing as open container laws in Japan. Like unless there's now a few very specific zones where they don't allow it. Like I think parts of Shibuya now they've been trying to cut back on this because the kids drink too much over there. But like for the most part, you can just walk around drinking. But almost anywhere in Japan, you cannot smoke, especially Tokyo and like other big cities. You cannot smoke on the street. You have to smoke only in these like designated areas. So, like they have these like little designated outdoor areas by train stations, and they have a lot of designated indoor area like smoking rooms and like malls and train stations and hotels and all sorts of other places. But yeah, there's still a ton of bars you can smoke in Japan, a ton of restaurants where you smoke in Japan. They cut back on some of it during the run up to the 2020 Olympics. It used to be that became 2021 Olympics. It used to be even more prevalent, but they have cut back a bit on it. So there's less places where you can do it, but there's still quite a few. And you can't. The biggest loss to me, actually, for like how much I love the place I love to smoke on the most in Japan. There used to be a smoking room on the Shinkansen. So you would like get up from your seat and there'd be like this little room where you like press the button to go in, the door would close behind you. So I guess the smoke doesn't get out, obviously. And it's a very tiny room. It won't have like enough room for 3 people to stand. But there was something about standing there. You have the ashtray below you and you have like a window out as like the scenery's flying by you. That was like my favorite place in the world to smoke. But they got rid of it now. Now it's nothing, I guess. Like you just walk by it and you're like, oh, this is closed now. So no more smoking on the bullet train. Very sad. The dream is dead. But yeah, so let's, I guess, anything else going on besides quitting smoking that I told you I don't need to do?
Not really. I started a compost bin outside of my front porch, but
Compost.
it's very like slow moving. Like there's no real updates on that. It's been going about a week.
Yeah, I've never done composting. I have no idea what that entails. Just like you just make a pile of trash.
So you make a pile of trash with a bunch of dirt, and then you buy some worms, and then just chunk them in there, and just let them like sort everything out.
So the worms take care of the trash for you.
Yes, yeah, and it's only like certain kinds of trash. Like you can't throw everything in there.
So. Well, the worms can't eat through plastic, I would assume.
Right.
Yeah.
They're on a diet of like banana peels, avocado peels. I had an old bag of sugar that expired, so I gave them a bunch of sugar, which I heard is like you're not supposed to give them like too much sugar because you can like mess up the pH balance of the soil. But like I checked on them a few minutes ago and I saw them like crawling around, so I'm like they're good. They're rocking with the sugar. So.
They're enjoying the sugar. That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I'm trying to think what else is going on with me now that I no longer, for some reason, that thing with Armani really did push down the sports rage. I don't know what that is. What that is. It's like you can only focus on like so many things, and somehow accidentally doxing somebody and having to go edit it out like, really push down this. It's really funny how that works. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what else happened to me. Oh, so I noticed at karaoke on Saturday, and multiple people told me the same thing. I was able to actually read like the kana off the screen on the Japanese songs I torture my friends with much better than I had in the past. So studying on Wanikani and Boom Pro every day really has improved my ability to read these karaoke lyrics without needing. Because what I used to do with a lot of Japanese songs, and I still had to do with a few songs when the lyrics are like too fast or I don't know them well enough, is like you would pull up the Romanji on my phone, the actual like Romanized lyrics, and I just read off of that, and while the thing is going on the screen. And in Japan, they have a thing where you can actually put the Romanji on your remote, which is pretty ingenious. And like just act like, because there's this big remote in the Japanese karaoke rooms for the live dam system specifically, and it's almost like a tablet, right? So you can have the Romanized lyrics show up on the remote tablet, which is really cool. But that does not exist in the New York one, obviously. I mean, they would never have anything that cool. But I just have to pull it up on my phone. But yeah, I didn't need to pull it up for so many songs. So that made me feel like, wow, studying works, I guess. Like doing actual daily studying for months had me reading kana much better again. So that was cool. My little learning is what was that old? What was the term when I was a kid? I was going to say something fun.
Learning is essential.
Learning is essential. It wasn't the one I was thinking of, but it was like much more corny than that. But something about edutainment or something. I don't know. Anyway, but I got through more. I was able to read the kana off the screen better, so that make me happy. But I guess we'll see how much I feel like the thing I'm still most scared to do, even as my Japanese reading has gotten better, and my listening has gotten better too to a degree. There's something somebody said on one of these shows where I was like, oh, I totally understood that, where I don't think I would have before. I think it was like during the hype video for the Tokyo Joshi International Princess title match. There was something where Suzume said to Haru, like I think Haru Kazushiro had said something like she wants to become something, and Suzume, her answer was something like Naritai. I'm trying to remember what it was because Naritai has definitely become something. It was like Naritai Jibun Nari Masho, I think, which would be like, let's both become what we're gonna become, sort of. I'm probably not even translating that right, but basically that's like the general meaning. It's like let's both go become what we want to become, I guess would be the better way to put it. So, but yeah, I remember like hearing that and being like, oh, I actually understood that. So that was obviously pretty basic sentence probably, but made me happy that I could actually understand what the fuck they were saying. But yeah, but the thing that really like still makes me feel nervous, even knowing that I've improved, is the idea of going to Japan in about 5 weeks now, and like actually trying to speak it to Japanese people. Like that's always where it becomes like, I don't know if I can do this because like, it's one thing to understand it when you're reading it and like when you're listening, but trying to actually produce it and like converse without sounding stupid or sounding like I'm like struggling to form any sentences is just really difficult. But then again, I probably sound like I'm struggling to form sentences in English right now too. So really no difference. But I guess we'll see how it goes when I'm actually there. Let's go into the actual wrestling we watched here, which again, the New Japan we're going to start with. None of this really wowed me. I'll be interested to hear your takes too, because some of this was pretty divisive. I feel like just from what I've seen, and also, I'm getting like an echo now. By the way, I don't know if the thing is too close to. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting like a loud echo in the background. Okay, now I don't hear it anymore. But okay, anyway, let's get back to
I
moved
the microphone slightly, so that might have been it. I tried to mute myself.
Yeah. Got it. I think it's okay. Now I don't hear it anymore. So I think you're good. I'm going to leave that in because I don't want to edit two things. Wrestling Heat no Kuni from Saga Arena was the first of these three shows on Wednesday, April 29th. Not a ton to talk about really besides the main event, unless there's anything you can remember notable. I watched a couple other matches, which was like the Mystico match and the United Empire vs. Unbound Company match, but there really wasn't anything notable from them. I don't know, unless you can remember something you want to talk about in the undercard.
I think the only thing that I watched other than like the top three was like the Knockout Brothers tag like early on, but there's nothing to say about that.
Yeah, Yano and Hanma. Okay, so the top, I mean, I don't even have anything to say about the other two matches besides the main event. Do you have anything notable from those two?
No.
Yeah, there really was. I mean, I watched the third from the top just because it was Mystico's, I think, first show of the tour. It was Bolton, Wolf, and Mystico against Narita, Fale, and Togo. And Mystico submitted Togo in 803 at the La Mystica, but really nothing notable from that match. And then the semi-main event, where sometimes they have like these, this was I remember thinking it was kind of fun, but it was just slow to start. They went 16 minutes. It was Callum beating Robbie X in 16-01 with the Maiden Essex. But yeah, this show was weird because it got kind of like downgraded almost, where this year they called it like Road to Dontaku Wrestling Heat no Kuni, I think. Although actually, well, maybe is that just a mistake they made on the Japanese site, on the English site, I mean, let me say. So I don't see that on the actual graphic. Let me see if it says it on the Japanese site too. I'm just curious. No, it did say on the Japanese site too. Yeah, so they almost kind of downgraded it. Where last year it was just called He's in no Kuni, I think, and this year it was called like Road to Wrestling Dontaku. He's in no Kuni. So it got downgraded to this like half, half Road to show or whatever. So really, only the one match of note was the main event. The attendance also was not very good. It was 1,058, which was way down from last year's 1,604. But last year, besides not having the partial branding, it had a top three instead of just the junior title match. So it had El Phantasmo versus Great O'Khan for the TV title, Fujita Eagles versus Wato and Yo for the junior tag titles, and then Desperado versus Templario for the main. But the bigger factor, and the factor that's going to come up really because all these shows were down, last year was the Naito, goodbye tour. I mean, that's when they announced Naito was leaving after the Dontaku tour. So that caused like a big rush in ticket sales. And, all these shows are going to be down compared to that. When we get to the Dontaku shows, it's almost better to compare them to the 2024 shows than last year because they're just always going to be way down from that because of all the Naito fans who, decided to go see him, and give all the goodbye stuff. So, that definitely was a big factor. As far as the main event goes, which was Doki defeating Tiger Mask in 1756 with the Darkness Stretch number 32 via referee stop to make his fourth defense. This was just like, I don't know. I didn't like this anywhere near as much as Doki Yo, which, I was really into that match. I thought that was like the best of, the House of Torture formula. The problem with this one, besides the fact that, Tiger Mask at this stage of his career is no Yo. I mean, that's just probably going to sound funny to some people, but it's just true. But besides that, like, I just thought Yo had a chance to win that match, whereas obviously I don't think anyone on earth thought Tiger Mask was going to win this match. And they put the lumberjack stuff in late, and I just didn't think it really did it really didn't impact the match at all. Like, they just kind of dragged them all to them back pretty early, and it just didn't really mean anything for the match. It wasn't like it was bad or anything. I thought it was fine. Show doing a fake count for Tiger Mask after taking out the actual ref just to like stop and cackle after two was very funny. Although he might as well count to three. It's not like it would have counted. But he was like, I'm not even going to give you a fake 3 count Tiger Mask. I guess maybe that's even funnier. And also one of the very rare new house spots these days because I can't remember them doing that before. But yeah, Doki, he hits Tiger Mask with a low blow. Show hit him with the Black Mirror, and then Doki beats him by ref stop with the choke. But yeah, just, the clown car stuff didn't really even impact the finish, and thought it was fine. Just like a 3-star match, just nothing I would ever recommend to anybody really, but it's nothing you're going to hate if you watch it either, probably. I mean, even the house stuff really isn't that big a deal in this match to me, especially because the rest of them get carried out so early. But I don't know, what'd you think?
Yeah, I didn't think it was very much of a match. I mean, it was a bunch of House of Torture stuff. But the thing that like really stuck in my craw about the whole thing was when Tanahashi stood up and ordered like the House of Torture to get thrown out, basically. He sat back down and watched the rest of the match. And then that's when the show interference started. And he didn't say anything. And so that was kind of like the world breaking like moment for me where he was like, no, we can't have House of Torture interfering and cheating in this match. Like we can't do that. We must protect the prestige of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And then House of Torture got thrown out and then the interference continued to happen. And he just sat there begrudgingly and was like, well, this is okay because it's not all of them. So yeah, I don't know. Like that bugged me more than anything because if Tanahashi sat there and watched the whole thing play out and didn't say anything, like, all right, he's trying to be a neutral party. Like we can forget, we can ignore, we can move on. But the fact that he was like, no, by God, we cannot stand for this. And then threw them out and then continue to watch show interfere. It was like, it made it worse than if he didn't do anything.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. It doesn't really make any sense, but he's like, okay, well, show is here, so, I can't do nothing about that. It's like, buddy, you're a wrestler still. You were just a wrestler 4 months ago. Just get up and knock show out. But I don't know. Very, very weird. After the match, Doki made Tana strap the belt around his waist, which was funny. He then announced he's going to boycott the rest of the Dontaku tour and Best of Super Junior. That made room for Daiki Nagaya to enter, which, I don't dislike that, I guess. I mean, that'll be cool. There's I don't know if this really hasn't broken anywhere except the Super J Cast Delhi things. I shouldn't say that loud, but there's reasons behind the Doki pulling out thing besides storylines. I guess all I'll really say. And then I thought the time was probably going to be for Dragon Dia because he had right before this he had just announced he was free and clear, but no, it ended up being Daiki Nagai. So I guess we're all still waiting for Dia to show up in New Japan, which we just assume is going to happen at some point. Maybe he just can't be in the tournament because he was in the tournament from Dragon Gate. I don't know. But yeah, just definitely, if you missed that junior title match, you really didn't miss anything. But that takes us to the 2 Dontaku shows. So night 1 was a couple days ago on Sunday, May 3rd. It did a crowd of 2,477 in the Fukuoka Convention Center, down from 2,903 last year. Again, assuming the Naito Goodbye Tour, it was the main reason for that. If you compare it to the 2024 night 1 show, it was basically the same number, just very slightly up. That was 2,440 for the Nick Nemeth versus Tanahashi main event, as we all remember. And 2023 was a 1-night show, so not that I'll compare to night 2, I guess, because it's really not comparable to a 2-night, especially night 1. The G1 show in August in this building was headlined by Tanahashi and Tsuji. That did 2,534, so really close to that number 2. So really not a bad showing for Tsuji here against Andrade in a hastily rebooked global title match. So yeah, I wouldn't call the number any kind of disaster. Again, if people are going, oh, it was 2,903 last year. Again, that was the Naito Goodbye Tour. So people, if you're listening to somebody ranting or raving about that, they don't know what they're talking about. The opener was Master Wato, Yo, and Toru Yano defeating Tiger Mask, Ryusuke Taguchi, and the Young Lion Taisei Nakahara. It was Wato beating Nakahara in 5-12 with the springboard uppercut. I thought this was just very basic opener here, just really not much to this one at all, and really started a trend where it felt like people were kind of working this like a Road 2 show. It wasn't like it was horrible or anything, but I don't know, I knocked it down to 2.25 because I thought besides being a 5-minute nothing match, I thought the finish looked pretty stupid. It was like a very, very light springboard uppercut that ended up being the finish. So it did not look good at all. So yeah, not a great start to the show. You guys have any thoughts on this 6-man tag?
No, I was laying out because you covered it all.
Match 2 was the Knockout Brothers beating Tomoaki Honma and Masataro Yasuda. It was Yuto Ice pinning Yasuda in 3:13, or actually beat him by KO with a knee strike. So yes, the Knockout Brothers won by knockout. They don't do that very often, actually, for a team called the Knockout Brothers. But yeah, Yasuda, he was all fired up for the match to go after Yuto Ice. That was cool to see, especially again after such a pedestrian opener. I love the finish, but yeah, 3-minute match, you can't really go that high, but 3 stars. It was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting the way that they did that. And I like that also on commentary, Walker was putting over how Yuya Uemura won with a wrist lock earlier on in the tour. I think it's really important to do stuff like that sometimes, just to show people that matches can end on stuff other than just finishers.
Yeah, and it is cool that they just let something else be the finish, especially with a young lion. Match number 3, Yuya Uemura, Taichi, El Desperado, and Mystico defeated Ryohei Oiwa, Hartley Jackson, and the Ichiban Sweet Boys. It was Yuya beating Hartley in 10:28 with a Frankensteiner. First of all, I was not expecting the Shane Haste GHC Heavyweight Champion shout out on commentary. I was like, well, I was already spoiled before I watched that show anyway, and I still haven't seen it, obviously. But I would have been, I guess, watching this first would have definitely spoiled me. So I was a little disappointed in this match, especially given the sheer amount of talent involved. Sometimes when you get these undercard multi-man tags on big shows, especially with high-level talent, they really go all out and deliver, and they just didn't here. I didn't think. It was okay, but that was it. Just okay. It's 2 3/4.
I thought it was pretty solid.
Afterwards, they made the Despy and Mystico versus Fujita and Eagles match that was already scheduled for the next day into a junior tag title match. So that was made official. Match 4. Somehow I did not know about this Goto Revolutionary Army thing. We're back to doing subunits, I guess, which is like Hantai subunits. I thought we were done with Hantai subunits, but now we got the Goto Revolutionary Army. Apparently, that's a real thing. But yes, Goto, Yoshihashi, and Tatsuya Matsumoto defeated, or lost to, I should say, the team of Will Ospreay, Hanare, and Great Okan. It was Okan beating Matsumoto in 10:08 with the Domination Claw. The crowd was loud for Ospreay in the pre-match chanting, and I did love Walker Stewart dropping the "That's a smile on the face of Will Ospreay you'll only ever see in New Japan Pro Wrestling" line, because he does look ecstatic to be here. And I don't watch enough. I don't watch AEW ever these days, so I don't know what he looks like on Dynamite or whatever. But yeah, it was a good little line by Walker. Meanwhile, I thought the match itself again was just okay. Kind of surprised me given Ospreay was involved, but again, just felt like a lot of Road 2 level efforts on this supposed big show. So again, I was like 2 3/4 on it.
Yeah, solid but unspectacular.
Afterwards, Ospreay was a bit upset with Okan for the way he was just really beating the fuck out of the young lion at the end with his claw when Matsumoto was already out. But as Charlton pointed out, though, and I do think this is a good point, that was really on the ref for not stopping it. Like, the ref really should have stopped it before he did. So, it was kind of a good point. And again, I like when they just don't make the fucking heels like complete fucking like, mustache twirling villains. It's kind of a good point that Okan, the match wasn't over. He had to beat him. And I do think so. Ospreay throughout this storyline has vacillated between overacting and not overacting. I think he did some overacting the next day, but really not as bad as we've seen from him at other times. I thought here, in this moment especially, I thought he was playing it much more understated. So I did think he was doing a good job at that. So didn't really come off like over the top at all, really. If anything, though, I didn't really get why Okan seemed so annoyed, like kicking the rail and stuff in the post match. I'm like, I don't know, Ospreay didn't really get that mad at you, like for you to be this angry about it. It was a little weird, but anyway, that was the storyline continued. Match number 5 was Shota Umino and Konosuke Takeshita defeating Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens. It was Shota beating Yujiro in 11:43 with the second chapter. Chase's Lone Star Outlaw theme, maybe the worst in New Japan today. Like, JAY's theme, as we've talked about in past episodes, is more generic, but Chase's is just like, I don't know, it's like grating. The funny thing is it really would not sound that out of place in WWE, especially WWE, or probably even AEW at this point, because like anytime I hear their original theme songs, they're so bad. So, Chase's theme song would definitely fit in more with them. So AEW, you want to sign them and take this theme with them, it would fit right in next to those, God, what the hell's the name of that guy who does the AEW themes? Can't remember his name now. One of those guys' themes. So Takeshi did not have his TV title belt here. Chase said something about how he shouldn't leave his bag of stuff out in the back or whatever, but implying that he stole it. But as we would learn later, he was not the actual thief. The thing I noticed here about Gino on commentary, because I think he made some jokes about it on the second night when he said people complain about him on social media. I think he is legitimately very funny. But like, he really also makes everything feel less serious and less important as a result. So I feel like your mileage may vary on how much you think it's worth. I do find him amusing. I mean, when he was on here and he kept joking that he was never going to be back, which who knows how true that is. But like, when he's on here, I do find him amusing, but he does make everything seem less serious. So it's kind of a trade-off. I don't know. What do you think of Gino's commentary?
I think I can stand him a few times a year. Like, if he comes back in a couple months, I'll be fine with it. Like, I don't want him on commentary for, like, the whole G1. But, like, when he was asked who his favorite member of Chaos was, and he said Mikey Nichols, I laughed for probably, like, 5 minutes straight. So, like, I can't be mad about that. Like, I think we have like the same general consensus on the shows that they were like okay, but like not incredible. And so like if he was on a show like Wrestle Kingdom or like an important show, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed the commentary as much. But since there wasn't as much going on the shows, I was glad to get my entertainment somewhere.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean by that. It's just it is a uh like I said, if it was a more maybe it was a more important show, like even Sakura, or even a better show, like Sakura Genesis was way better than either of these shows. Maybe it would have not come across as well, but maybe just like you said, that added something to these shows because these shows were a little dire at times. But yeah, the thing, Chase, I thought he was trying harder than usual here. He did some actual wrestling moves and stuff, but he just looks so like his look is so shit that it just feels kind of absurd that he's just getting this much offense in on Takeshita. I mean, Takeshita really will sell for anybody. So, I don't know. Just very, very weird vibes here. Speaking of people who will sell for anyone, Shota Umino was just getting absolutely dominated by Yujiro, who, unlike Chase, wasn't really trying here in the process. He was just dominating him while looking like he wasn't trying. So that came off even worse. And then after working together perfectly fine the entire match without even a hint of dissension, they backed into each other out of the corner and then suddenly got in each other's faces over that. I'm like, both, first of all, why did the two of you like both walk backwards out of the corners? Like, it didn't feel like a natural thing at all. It felt like, oh, it's time for the dissension now. And second of all, why do you care that you backed into each other so bad? Like, it just felt really weird when you've been getting along fine the entire match. Yujiro used the distraction to hit Takeshi with the pimp cane, but then Shota just hit the fucking second chapter and Yujiro won anyway. So I have no idea what the point of any of that was. And yeah, this was pretty goddamn bad. It went like 1.5 stars. So I don't know. Did you think anything of this tag?
I think the work was solid enough that it saved it from being less than an average match for me, I guess. And like with Umino and Takeshita backing into each other, there was something about the way that they timed it out. I felt like it looked a lot more natural than it normally does. Like in my head, I remember like the Hulk Hogan like Macho Man like backing into each other and like pointing at each other like stare down kind of thing. And this felt like a lot more natural than that, I guess. But I mean, that's the bar is in hell at that point.
Yeah.
I think that looked terrible. So
Afterwards, Shota offered Takeshi a handshake, and he refused it for no real reason. But I guess it was a swerve because he would just join Hantai the next day anyway. So I don't know. His whole storyline is so muddled and weird anyway, so it's really hard for me to get worked up about it at this point. It just doesn't feel like he really needs to be here. But maybe him being in Hantai will be the start of him feeling more like someone who actually like should be around or whatever. But I don't know. It could just be like they don't feel like flying Rocky out again, so now he's going to be able to team with like young lions and stuff during the G1 tour if he's in the G1 again. I don't know. Very weird stuff with Takeshi these days. But I talked about it during the Sakura Genesis review. I think that he just he feels like a citizen of the world and not an actual member of any promotion. It feels like so. Again, that's me going on other people's AEW takes because I don't watch AEW. But the next match was Shingo, Drilla, Taiji Ishimori, Robbie X, and Daiki Nagai defeating Callum, Jake Lee, Akira, JAY, and Zane J. Drilla pinning Zane J with the Drilla Killer in 10:22. Zane J has a banger of a theme song, by the way. I'm always sad when it gets cut off pretty quickly. So he's always the first one out. And they cut, so here they cut out from him to like JAY's hilariously generic theme song. The one's like, it sounds like Jim Johnston, like something he fucking put on the cutting room floor in like 1999. But yeah, Zane J has like a cool little like fucking white boy like SoundCloud rap song. So good for Zane J. It's probably better than like 90% of WWE theme songs at this point, and it's like for the United Empire Lost Post Young Lion. It's just kind of funny. Speaking of things that were funny, you said you laughed forever about that Gino line. Jake taking off this clown mask, revealing nothing underneath, no makeup or anything when he was introduced, was so fucking funny to me for some reason. Like I just fucking laughed and laughed and laughed. But yeah, he just didn't feel like doing the makeup twice, I guess. I don't know. It was just kind of funny. Maybe he was out partying at the festival in the streets of Fukuoka last night too much or something. I don't know. But yeah. but yeah, just at least this felt like, finally some wrestlers on this show and undercard tag actually trying. But I wouldn't say this blew me away, but it was a hell of a lot better than pretty much everything that came before. Um, the back-to-back dives to the floor from the guy and Robbie, probably the big highlight. But yeah, Drilla, he gored Zayn, pinned him with the Drilla Killer just after 10-minute mark, 3.25, which was a lot better than the rest of his undercard slop.
Yeah, I didn't think the Drillakilla looked particularly good by Drilla's standards,
Yeah.
but JAY and Robbie X are like two guys that always just work their asses off in undercard tags. So yeah, like I think we talked about it last time. Like I really like the team of Jake Lee and Akira and JAY. Like when they all three of them are like together, I think they just always go really hard for some reason.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. It's like they always look like they're trying to like prove something as like, don't forget about us. We're in United Empire too kind of way. So, because obviously now you have like a clear United Empire top team with like Callum, Hanare, Great Khan, and even, Osprey when he's there. So, and Andrade, who's still this unit for some reason, as we'll get to. The next match was Aaron Wolf defeating Don Fale in 10 minutes and 30 seconds with an angle slam. I don't know why they call it an angle slam instead of an Olympic slam, but anyway. This got an audible crowd pop during the pre-show video, which was very funny to me. Here's the part where I have to admit I'm not a true Shin Nihon freak, I guess, because I wasn't paying attention at all during the Dontaku tour. So when they started talking about this 10 million yen thing with Wolf, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? And they didn't really explain it either. They just kind of mentioned it. I'm like, I remember vaguely seeing something about it and just didn't care enough about Aaron Wolf to look into what it was. Do you have any idea what this is? This 10 million yen thing?
So apparently he was on like some Japanese like variety show or like talk show or something, and he did like the old school gimmick of like, if you can pin me, like you win, 10 million yen or whatever.
Yeah, it's like
And so
$6,000, by the way.
right. So and apparently he beat like a bunch of like really good wrestlers and like never lost the money. And so then Gino took that and was running with it as like, well, the Fale should get the money and all that.
Okay, so that was a joke by Gino. It's not something that's ongoing.
It was Gino headcanon.
Okay.
I'm not sure about like all the details of the rest of it because like I hadn't followed like super super closely, but to my understanding, that's what it was.
It was like on the one show and that's over.
Right, yeah, and it was all like Gino headcanon, like just a reference to like what was happening on the TV show.
So that's the part I was confused about, where I'm like, is this still ongoing? If someone pins Aaron Wolf, does he have to pay them $6,000? Like, what is going on here? But yeah, that makes way more sense that it was Gino making jokes. This match had some of the most boring crowd brawling I can ever recall being put to film. Just really, really boring crowd brawling, where Fale is doing like nothing, and Wolf selling leaves a lot to be desired still at this point. Like, he looks bored more than he's in pain, which I guess I don't blame him. When Wolf finally makes his comeback, the crowd does react well for him doing his judo throw and stuff, but at one point I can't even tell if he was trying to do a flying splash and it went badly, or was trying to do a flying headbutt. I think it was a splash, right? Because that's what he did the dome. But it did not look, whatever it was, did not look good. The ref got bumped. Chase ran in. And I just wrote down at this point, quote, "I am tired of recapping this utter garbage, so I'm giving up here." And then I kept recapping anyway, so I don't know what are you talking about, John? But yeah, there's a light Wolf chant. Fale went into the exposed turnbuckle a couple times. The crowd popped for the body slam like this is fucking Hogan Andre. And then Wolf hit the Olympic slam for the pin. The very end was fine. Everything leading up to was fucking painful. I still don't really see it with Wolf. I saw some people on Super J-Cat server like talking this up, talking up this performance. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't really see anything with him besides his name and the fact they can do a few cool judo throws. Like his selling here was like actively bad. The crowd does still like him. That counts for something, but I didn't like this at all. I was like 1.25.
So like, I don't think it was a great match. I feel sort of neutral on it, like 2.5, somewhere in there. But I think Wolf has shown like a lot of signs of improvement in the sense that the way he moves with a lot more intensity and a lot more focus and a lot more intention in everything that he does. So I can see why some people would be higher on it just based on, I think this is a stronger proof of concept than the first round match of the New Japan Cup with Wolf and Fale. Like, this was a better match than that. I mean, also
I remember thinking that one wasn't this bad, but maybe it was really his selling or something that really threw me off. I just didn't think his selling was good at all.
That's fair. And his selling might need work. I think it was just like the way he moved. And if you compare the way that he would hit the ropes for an elbow drop, like earlier on in his career, like he hits the ropes a lot harder. His footwork's a lot better. Like there are certain like small signs of improvement that I think are good for him, I guess, just in the long term.
The next match was for the never openweight title. Ren Narita defeating Boltin Oleg in 15-20 with an armbar. Somehow this is only his first defense. Okay. If you didn't get enough crowd brawl in the last match, don't worry. This one starts exactly the same. At least Boltin does take slightly cooler bumps and sells for it better than Wolf did. But yeah, just was like, okay. You could really hear a pin drop during Narita's usual boring heat segment working on Boltin's arm. A lot of stuff there I just thought looked bad. Like Boltin doing the Boltin shake and then trying the powerbomb straight out of it only for Ren to just kind of fall out. It's not even really clear to me what they were going for, what happened there. We got a ref bump. Boltin easily fought off Kanemaru. Then he kind of dragged Ren straight into a powerbomb. That did look better. Although you could definitely argue he shouldn't have had the arm strain for that after Narita worked over his arm for the entire fucking match, which was also already taped up. Wolf came out to take show away when he tried to interfere. Like almost all Narita matches these days, this felt so much longer than it actually was. Like I remember checking to see that there were 12 minutes left on the runtime, not necessarily the match, but the runtime on the bottom of the thing for the whole segment. And then I looked. Then it felt like an eternity had passed. I checked again, and it somehow said 6 minutes remaining. I was like, "What? There's no way only 6 minutes passed." Even a supposed rope break from Boltin after Narita caught him in a cross arm breaker looked weird and awkward. Like Boltin never actually got his foot on the rope, and they're just like, "Well, he broke the plane." I was like, "What?" Narita got the armbar back on. Togo low blowed him just when it looked like he was going to power out of it. Boltin tapped out. I didn't think this was like the worst match ever. It was an improvement over the last match to me, and I guess all the arm work, armbar stuff made sense. But I still thought it was pretty damn bad and boring. So yeah, I'm like 1 3/4.
Oh no, I'm fairly high on Boltin these days. Like the run that he's been on.
I usually am too, which is not in this match.
Yeah, I guess like I don't have like a negative feeling about the match, and I feel like that's based on. I feel like Ren is doing okay right now. Like charisma wise, character wise, like all that, like F minus. Like I don't think he's doing well at all. But he's put on a little bit of size. Like I think he's a decently sized guy right now, and I think there's potential there in his wrestling. I just feel like he's handicapped right now by the character that he's in, which is in sort of a non-character role. Like to all the people that say he's such a downgrade from Evil, it's like, well, yeah, he is, because like Evil was allowed to be a character. Evil was allowed to do so much more than what it feels like Ren is allowed to be right now. Like, I don't know what Ren's instincts are or like what his vision it is of pro wrestling, but like he doesn't really have a character right now. Like he's just sort of the nebulous like heel. So like all I feel like I can judge him on is the way that he wrestles, and I feel like his wrestling is decent. He just doesn't have any type of personality or presentation or showmanship, and I don't necessarily feel like that's his fault.
Yeah, and the crowd doesn't give a fuck about him either, which is the other problem.
Right.
Afterwards, we had the setup for the inevitable Wolf Narita rematch at Dominion. Like this would be an example to me of the worst of Gato's booking by far, where like you have a painfully obvious destination the moment they had Naruto win the belt back from him in screwy fashion all the way back in fucking February at this point in Osaka. We still had to watch the unexciting in between where everyone involved did absolutely nothing. So like, yeah, when you like predictable booking when the stuff is good, is already like still kind of a downside, but you have this predictable booking where there wasn't anything exciting and the destination isn't close to worth it either because Wolf is going to beat a guy who sucks and isn't over to win back a mid-card belt he already won in far more exciting fashion at a far bigger show against a far better opponent, having done absolutely nothing since. Like, that's not good booking. That's pretty fucking bad booking, actually. So, I just feel like they wasted this entire half year of Wolf, and the destination is not worth it. It's just, he's going to win the never belt back against a guy who sucks. Whoop-de-do. So, I don't know. Just very, very whatever. Like, he should have been fucking feuding with, I don't know, fucking Bolton or something. Like, anything would have been better than this because this was just crap. So, the main event, the Global Heavyweight title, I can finally say something good about this show because I did like this main event a lot, which I think it was pretty divisive as well. This was Andrade El Idolo defeating Yota Tsuji in 32-57 to become, God, they usually put this on here, I think the 12th champion. But Tsuji did fail in his V4. This was, of course, supposed to be Gabe Kidd before he got hurt. Kind of funny they even included that part in the video package. So yeah, I was there for their prior match in Trenton, in February, which I really did love. I went 4.5 on that. I had heard mixed things about this one going in before I watched it, so I was fascinated to see which camp I fell into. And this show at this point really needed this match to be a banger to stay out of like worst major show of the year contender, in my opinion, anyway. Andrade was introduced as a United Empire member still. I was kind of wondering at this point, and we would see him with the group the next night, although in a weird way. The start was not super exciting. It was slow paced. We're going long stuff for the crowd that wasn't that into it at all. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing that really grabbed you at all. There was a very nice hanging double stomp by Andrade in the corner. That would be like the first big highlight spot to me. The spot where Andrade kind of like stopped Tsuji up on the second rope, though, and then hit a kind of inverted Spanish fly over there. That was one of those spots that both looked really cool, but was also kind of stupid if you thought about it for like more than a second. Because it felt like Andrade didn't actually do anything to stop Tsuji. Like, he just kind of jumped up there, and then Tsuji just stopped whatever he was doing and let Andrade do the move to him. It's like, well, how did he incapacitate him to do that? It was just very weird. Like Tsuji was like incapacitated by shock of Andrade jumping up there. It just didn't feel like there was something missing there, like a transition.
And then they also took the same bump.
They also took the same bump too, actually. Yeah. Well, I guess you kind of always do on a Spanish fly, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about a Spanish fly because, like, I've taken it before, and like, I sort of get it. Like, the guy taking the backflip, can like land on his knees, and so the guy doing the front flip takes like more of the bump. But on this one, they were both up there, and so it was like it was like a Russian leg sweep, but like a moonsault, like Russian leg sweep, and so they were both taking like the stomach bump, and like Andrade didn't put his knees down, so he was taking less of the bump.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It doesn't really make any sense. So a cool move that made no sense, basically. So I do have to give Gino credit here after what I said earlier about him during the show, making everything feel less serious. He did totally move off the joking in the main event. So he was being completely serious here and starting the match as a big deal. So that's good. There was this incredible spinning dive by Andrade to the floor at one point. Tsuji did a great sudden counter during the middle of Andrade's, front suplex train, the chain of front suplexes, just like suddenly lifting him from there straight into a powerbomb. That was awesome. And the crowd did get into it at that point. They started chanting for him while he slowly got back up to his feet just for the 20-minute call. They fought out to the apron where Tsuji hit this sick Rana off of there onto the floor. Big bump by Andrade for that. Tsuji then did a top rope Spanish fly back in the ring, which got a 2 count. I thought that did get little reaction from the crowd. A very little reaction from the crowd for a spot that looked pretty sick. But anyway, they're like, we already saw a second rope Spanish fly. We don't care about a top rope one now. Weird spot where they teased a double knockdown after Andrade had just countered the Gene Blast with a fucking Judas effect, which was kind of cool and also kind of funny. But then Red Shoes just like stopped counting at 9 despite neither guy actually getting up. I was like, what? Like, this match should be over, I guess. Like, Suji should complain to the fucking IWGP committee because this match should have ended right there. It also felt like something they had the idea for when it was supposed to be Suji Gabe here, and they just kept it in. So I'm like, okay, Suji almost had a 10 count in a global title match once, but it was against Gabe, so not against Andrade. So just, I don't know, kind of weird. Not much time to dwell on that, though, because they went straight to a hard slap to the chest sequence, which was cool. Andrade countered Suji's alley-oop inverted powerbomb thing with a sunset flip powerbomb instead, which was one of those spots that probably could have landed a little cleaner, but still rolled anyway. Then they traded roll-ups back and forth. Then Suji hit the Gene Blast on him out of midair for a super close near fall. Andrade hit Azumi's double underhook destroyer, although, again, he did not hit that nearly as cleanly as she often hits it. Then, to be honest, there's a spot I had to replay to see what they were going for. I think Andrade was trying to lift him for a double underhook DDT on the second rope, but Suji kind of just reversed it straight into a double pin. That was kind of smart on his point, though, because he would have retained his title on double pin. So Suji hit an alley-oop this time on the second try. Then he went for the Boston Crab he's been using to beat all the AEW guys this year, including Andrade himself in Newark. But this time Andrade made the ropes fairly quickly. Then the fucking finish, this was insane. Andrade and Suji fucking lifted the DDT the guy in the ring post spot from the Naito Omega 2017 G1 final, which, you know, one former LI Ingobernable doing it to another one, which is kind of cool too. But truly insane spot to even attempt, though. It just made me jump out of my chair when I saw it. And then Andrade immediately followed up with the message, that like spinning DDT thing he does for the pin. I've heard people be all over the place in this match, like I mentioned, like from match of the year contender to not that great. I think, and this is a sentence I don't say very often, I'm right in line with the inmates on Cage Match. Actually, to check where they are now. When I first checked, they were at like 8.68, which would translate to a 4.25, and that's exactly where I'm at. I'm at 4.25 on this. I thought it was awesome, just not quite even like low end match of the year contender level. And I didn't like it quite as much as their Trenton match that I went 4.5 on, but that may just be because, they're at 8.52 now. It's come down a little bit, but basically the same thing, like 4.25. But yeah, basically, you know, that could have just been Live Bump, obviously, being in the building for the Trenton match. But yeah, still an awesome match. Still one I enjoy greatly. A few things I nitpick with it, you know, a little too slow paced early, which is a critique you can make a lot about a lot of long New Japan main events. A few too many spots that didn't quite land flush for me to want to go higher on the match. But I still thought it was pretty awesome. Still greatly enjoyed myself. And I was like, thank God we have one awesome match on the show at least, because the show definitely needed it.
Yeah, I feel like there was a few slow spots there, and like you said, a couple things that didn't quite land flush. But I thought the finish was awesome. Like, the finish was one of my favorite finishes like all year, just because like it really showed people at the same time, like, yes, Andrade hit his finish and that was the finish, but establishing the DDT into the ring post spot, first of all, it looked awesome when they did it. But then second, it was like, okay, this move is important. Like, if Andrade ever hits this again, he has an immediate pass to hit his finish and win the match. So it was a great setup, and it establishes something as an important plot point that they can go back to. Andrade can replay that like in any of his big matches, like for the rest of the year, and it's still something that's going to resonate with people because it's like, oh my God, that's the thing that he hit right before he beat Suji. So.
Yeah, totally. It's a very dangerous spot, obviously, but you know, just I definitely maybe leap out of my chair when I saw it. Where are you like are you with me, though it's not quite match of the year contender, but still kind of awesome? Are you with the people who thought it was more in like the 3-star territory?
I went around like the 4 neighborhood,
Okay.
maybe a little bit lower. Like, yeah, I thought there was some slow stuff early, like that just didn't resonate with me quite as much. But like everything, like the last quarter of it was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like really solid. But yeah, it's not going to be in like my top 10 for the rest of the year.
Yeah, totally. Afterwards, Andrade gave a total babyface promo, which is a little weird. But he was like, I know some people don't support me because I'm in AEW, but he's like, both New Japan and AEW are in my blood. He's like, I have New Japan blood. I was like, okay, New Japan blood. I don't know, it's just kind of a weird line. When he asked who wanted to challenge him, Drilla Maloney and Shota Umino both walked out. I kind of loved how Drilla was like, I was first through the curtain, Shota. What the bloody hell? Like, that was kind of his reaction. Because it was like, kind of like very meta, where it's like, yeah, if you just kind of get through the curtain first, you're supposed to be the one who gets the title shot. I thought that was kind of funny. But obviously you can tell, given the two people here, that this was supposed to be Gabe Kidd. Because they both have a big connection to Gabe. Shota has the rivalry with him that may or may not be based on reality. And Drilla obviously used to be his, partner and War Dog unit mate. And now they're just facing somebody they have no connection to. So that's a little weird, I guess. I was hoping they were going to do number one contender, but no, Andrade said he wants a triple threat match, which, I don't really care about using that term, but it was just like, oh God. I three-way matches kind of are dopey. I never liked them. And I'm going to sit through one in person at Dominion, I guess, but not a big fan of that. I was hoping they just do a number one contender match. Andrade leaving at first with them walking right back between them while they were arguing to get the big streamer launch above his head was very cute. But yeah, it was weird that the spot that was supposed to be held by, this is supposed to be Gabe Kidd as the evil A&W invader who sold out the company and went to fucking go sign with Tony Khan. Winning the white belt from Tsuji and holding it hostage. And now it's just Andrade, the nice AEW invader, winning the white belt, who's also in the top heel unit for some reason, winning the belt and just being like, I'm a big fan of everybody. Like, I don't like, it was very weird, the whole promo. So it's very weird vibes. I don't know if I don't dislike it. I don't know if I dislike it or anything. Like, I kind of think I prefer this over the Gabe stuff because the Gabe stuff got so cringe. But yeah, I don't know. It's just very weird. Just a very weird vibes around all this. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the Andrade thing and the Dominion direction?
Not particularly. I mean, I agree. I feel like it's very like they cut and pasted Gabe's role to Andrade without really changing up much of like the dialogue options or anything like that. So
yeah, I feel like that they probably would have been making a way bigger deal out of the fact that it was Gabe if they both came out to Gabe. So I don't know. It just kind of feels like, well, here's a match now. Whereas before, like the match would have been a big deal in the storylines. But again, the Gabe stuff was so cringe. I don't think I dislike the change. So not that I ever wish I injured anybody before anybody fucking accused me of that. But it just feels like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the alternate universe with Gabe here would have been any better because he would have been like, cursing out Tanahashi and everything. I don't know. I'm just kind of over that. But
yeah, I agree. I think the alternate universe where we get Gabe there is a lot more just nebulous and like going through the whole politics of Gabe Kidd. I enjoy Andrade more in the spot in some ways.
But yeah, I can't call Night One any kind of good show given how much the undercard was very skippable. But the main event was awesome enough. Keeps it out of worst major show contender territory. But yeah, just watch. If you haven't seen the show, just watch the main event and skip everything else. Night 2 was Monday, May 4th. So yesterday, as we're recording this. Also from the Fukuoka Convention Center. The crowd for this was 3,603. An even bigger drop from last year's Night 2, which was 5,407. Now, again, that is the final Naito show. So, the Naito factor is probably even more pronounced. But it is worth noting this was still down pretty big from 2024 too. That was 42-38 for the Moxley Narita main. So, big draw John Moxley, I guess. The 2023 one was a one-night Dontaku instead of split. So kind of a different beast. But that one was 44-89 with Sonata and Hiromu on top. So yeah, this show, no matter what you compare it to, it was down from all those. So it just didn't. And it's on a Monday, but this is still a holiday too in Japan. So you can't really blame the Monday aspect of it. But yeah, just not a good number, I don't think. Again, even not comparing to the Naito number, even comparing to what they've done the last 2 years, really wasn't a good number. So not a good start for Callum as champion when it comes to drawing any kind of crowd here. But I mean, they is literally just starting for him. So, they're trying to establish him here, and we'll see what, presumably will be him and Tsuji. We'll see what they do for Dominion. But yeah, just didn't get off to a big start here or anything. The opener was the Young Lion match, which was Masataro Yasuda beating Taisei Nakahara, the dark match actually, in 7:15 with the Boston Crab. It was a Young Lion match, everybody. I really didn't have anything of note. Didn't think anything of note about it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Dark match, so.
Then we had the World TV title in the actual main show opener, which was Konosuke Takeshita beating Chase Owens in 11:32 with the Raging Fire to make his third defense. Chase tried to jump Takeshita before the bell, but he actually saw it coming and dodged it, as literally anyone should with the house by now. Big surprise, but Chase's heat period was quite boring. As soon as I typed that, Takeshi decided to try to take a bump directly on the apron on his forehead to try to liven things up, but even that can only do so much. This was not very good. Hantai ran down to save him from the house interfering, and then he won. Good for him. 2 stars. It wasn't like awful or anything, but it was not good.
All right, I'll go ahead and out myself here. I feel like I'm probably the biggest Chase Owens fan that there is out there right now. Like, I'm not.
So you think he's just kind of bad? I guess if you think you're the biggest Chase Owens fan.
So, like, I actually talked about this on one of the guest episodes that I guest co-hosted, the Super J Cast. I am a big Chase Owens fan, and he has actually had some really good matches before. So, like, I know it's in there with him. Like, I know he's capable of it under, like, certain circumstances. I didn't think this one was incredible. And there was that one spot fairly early on where he was running at Takeshita on the outside, and Takeshita was going to give him, like, a backdrop. And, like, he just didn't get up for the backdrop. And so that's when Takeshita gave him, like, the DDT on the outside. I don't know. There's a certain spot that I have in my heart for Chase Owens that I didn't feel like it was that bad of a match. And I didn't find his heat as boring as maybe you found it. And there were a couple of spots that I thought were okay. So I didn't think it was a terrible showing overall for Chase. But, I mean, I would say, like, the TV title reign for Takeshita has just been, like, really weird overall, because, like, why would you fly him over? Like, I mean, I know he's working, like, DDT and, like, doing other stuff while he's in Japan, but, like, why are you flying him over for matches with Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi? I mean, the one with Umino makes sense, but, like, that's kind of been the anomaly of, like, this title reign. Like, it was sandwiched in between, like, 2 really weird matches.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's all setting up the Sonata match, but that's not that big a deal either, really, so I don't know. But yeah, post-match, we see a video of the mysterious masked man from Sakura Genesis entering the building. Then he shows up with Takeshi's TV title in a bag and hits him with it before he unmasks to reveal he's indeed Sonata, as pretty much everybody expected, I think. He then gives him the deadfall, so that's apparently your title match for Dominion. Not much of a reaction to this, but God knows he can't be any worse as a heel than Naruto. So, at least he's back, I guess. He also kept the bag that presumably includes the belt.
Okay, so question. Do you feel like this is a situation where, like when Kenny Omega was in the G1 and he forgot the IWGP US title?
Aha! I didn't even think of that. Yeah, because they never showed us the belt, right? That's a good point.
Right. Yeah, because, like, the whole time they were like, oh, Chase Owens stole the belt, and Takeshita didn't come out with it. So, like, yeah, do you feel like it was a situation where, like, he forgot the belt and they were like, okay, let's, like, try and parlay this into some heat as opposed to, just not having the belt?
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe. Very well could have been. Then we had Daiki Nagai and Gato defeating Ryusuke Taguchi and Tatsuya Matsumoto. It was Nagai pinning Matsumoto in 650 with a diving headbutt. Buddy, you should really look into how things went for Dynamite and Benoit before you start doing that fucking move regularly. But it's all right. 2 3/4. Don't really have anything to say about it.
Yeah, it was solid. But what do you think? Well, I don't know. I don't know what your plans are as far as like previewing Best of Super Juniors and all that. But I guess I'm curious as to your thoughts on how you feel like Daiki Nagai is going to do in Best of Super Juniors this year.
Probably go winless.
Winless.
I mean, he's still a young lion technically, so I don't know. I don't see him winning any. Like who? I'm trying to remember which block he's in. Is there anyone he could beat?
Well, this was essentially a preview match for a match against Taguchi.
Yeah, Taguchi. Yeah. Could he beat Taguchi? Well, that is the question. Is he like in the main of? Oh no, they do it in reverse order. Yeah, Taguchi's his first opponent. I don't know. I mean, that's among his most realistic people he could beat, but like, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna beat him. He's not gonna beat Robbie X or Nick Wayne. He's not gonna beat Watto or Teton. I guess he could beat Watto, actually. He's not going to be Fujita or Akira. I don't know. Maybe at most he'll get one win, probably. Why, do you think he's going to like get a whole bunch of wins and that'll be how he graduates to like not Young Lion anymore? Is that what your play?
I'm not sure. I guess that's why I was curious on your opinion of it, because like I guess it depends on like what they're doing with Watto, and because in the backstage promos and stuff they've been setting up stuff with like Fujita and Watto. So like if you kind of take that as face value, like it seems like Watto might be doing like decent this year, but like normally, yeah, I would see like Nagai having a chance of beating Taguchi and Watto, and maybe like picking up one or two on an outsider, and getting a little something if they wanted to. But I mean, you truly like never know.
Yeah, it seems more likely to me he's just going to lose out, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Match number 3 was the Knockout Brothers beating Shota Umino and Tomoaki Honma. It was Oscar beating Honma in 901 with the Nightmare Sleeper. Very pedestrian match here. I thought the crowd was pretty dead for it to boot. Like the supposed hot tag to Shota by Honma just got no reaction at all. I think the problem here is honestly that Honma is like such a jobber compared to the rest of these 3 that it was impossible for the crowd to like even remotely suspend their disbelief that they didn't know how this was going to end. But yeah, some okay little highlights, but otherwise just average, like 2.5.
I feel like we talked about it on one of the previous episodes that we've done, but I like the Honma and Umino like tag team of just the idea of like the really strong guy with like the partner that's made out of glass, and so he has to like save him all the time to make sure that they don't lose the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they've done that match a bunch in like different combinations over the tour, where Honma's just been eating a lot of falls to the Knockout Brothers. So yeah, the crowd knew what was coming there, and of course, like they didn't surprise him on it. So
match 4 was Wolf, Yano, Tiger Mask, Yo, and Watto beating Narita, Fale, Yujiro, Sho, and Kanemaru. It was Wolf pinning Yujiro in 10:02 with the angle slam. Boring as fuck. Guess nothing that bad, but just really, really boring. I went like 2 1/4.
Very pedestrian.
Match 5 was Yuya Uemura and Taichi defeating Ryohei Oiwa and Hartley Jackson. It was Taichi pinning Hartley in 13:49 with a Black Mephisto. I thought they started out pretty hot, especially when it was Taichi in there. It slowed down a bit when it was Yuya slowly working over Oiwa's arm. The big Taichi Hartley sumo showdown ruled, and then it kind of just ended after that. So I'd say pretty good overall, but given how much it slowed down the middle, I was like 3 1/4 on it, and I thought I expected better from these 4, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, it was very clearly positioned as a setup to something bigger later on, which we'll get to when we preview the next like upcoming shows. But
well, they announced it right after, right? It was Oiwa challenging Uemura to keep fighting him, and Taichi's like, I want to fight too. So the end result was apparently Yuya and Taichi against Zack and Oiwa at Dominion, I think.
I I think there's a tag match set up for Wednesday, like tomorrow.
I don't think that's this one though. Is Yuya? That's just Yuya and Yasuda against Oyo and Fujita.
Yeah.
So that's not. Yeah. So the tag match they were setting up at the end was for Dominion. I think, even if it's not officially announced yet, that's pretty much where it has to be. So,
right.
Which is a cool tag match. I mean, that sounds good. I mean, as a ticket holder, that's probably the thing they announced or teased that I'm most into, to be honest. But match number 6 was Yota Tsuji, Drilla Maloney, Taiji Ishimori, and Robbie X defeating Jake Lee, Akira J, and Zane J. J and J. I somehow did not realize that until just now. Yota Tsuji beat Zane J and 825 with the Boston Crab. This again was the definition of a match that existed. Like I don't know if they're gonna have these fucking Dontaku shows where so much of them are like just undercard tags. They gotta try a little hard in some of these undercard tags if they want these shows to be anything special. Yeah, this was 2.5. Very average match.
Yeah, solid. Nothing special.
I mean, there are definitely times where you have these undercard tags on bigger shows, and they go all out there, and it's like a pretty good, like a damn good 3.5-star match, and just I don't think they ever got to that level on any of these, which is kind of annoying. IWGP Junior Tag Team titles: El Desperado and Mystico defeated Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita. Desperado beating Fujita in 2007 with the numero dos. So they become the 83rd champions, and the Ichiban Street Boys fail in their first defense. It started out with a big slap to the chest exchange between Despy and Fujita. That left Despy sounding like he was coughing up a lung. And when they both went to tag out, like Mystico did not want to tag Desperado's hand, I guess because he was like coughing on it, which I thought was funny. But yeah, I thought this match, I don't know, this was like good but not great to me. Like Mystico did his cool lucha arm drags and stuff, but there were again a lot of moves in this match that didn't land super flush to me and just didn't look as good as they could have. I enjoyed it well enough, but it was never a match that felt I ever even considered going notebook on. So 3.5 stars. It was a good match, but like I thought it was pretty disappointing, honestly.
I mean, if you look at it from the potential of what the peak could be, then I could see why it would be disappointing. Like, I thought it was a really good match, but it could have been a lot better. Like, I know Despy's appearances in Korakuen mains has been like a controversial topic over the last, year plus or so. But if this had been a match that had headlined Korakuen and they had like a couple more minutes and like really focused on it, it could have been much better than what it was. But I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a solid match. Interesting that they would change the tag titles right before this. So not really sure how that impacts like the booking of Best of Super Juniors, but
yeah, I mean the result I guess is mildly surprising, but I guess this gives them a belt to defend at Fantastica Mania Mexico, which is coming up, and maybe this will lead to something Forbidden Door too. But whatever. It's a junior tag titles. I'm not really that concerned. The next match was Ospreay, Hanare, and Okan defeating Goto, Yoshihashi, and Bolt and Oleg. Okan beat Yoshihashi in 24:06 with the Great Blade Bomb. That made a big triple team move they did together. So that made them the 34th champions, and the Bisha Monten, whatever the fuck their name was, failed in their third defense. I was kind of left. This match again left me waiting for this to get great for a long while. I was trying to think like, did I just watch too much wrestling in the last like fucking 24 hours? Because I was like, I wasn't into this at all. But it did pick up at a certain point. So once it picked up, it did really pick up. An Ospreay taking that top rope sunset flip powerbomb bump in a never 6-man match from Goto was really sicko shit. So that was cool. But there was like this one spot where like Goto and Yoshihashi were holding up Okan for their triple team move, and Ospreay like springed off his own partner to do a fucking hidden blade on Bolton over the body. I don't know, it was way too cute to me. That was like, I don't really like wrestling moves where you can see all 6 of them. Like you can picture all 6 of them in the back, like talking about how great this is going to be and like coming up with the spot. And it just felt too convoluted to me. The diving to the floor right after was awesome though. And then on top of that, like the actual Great Blade Bomb just looked very low impact to me, to the point of actually looking stupid. And I probably was flirting with low notebook for this before that, like 4 stars, but I think that was just enough for me to go like 3 3/4. So it was still very good. I just took too long to get going, and then the end I just didn't really think was very like the very last five special I just didn't think looked very good. So
What if I was to tell you that Will Ospreay had a bad neck beforehand?
They did definitely drive that point home. That's for sure.
Yeah,
What do you think?
it was a good match. It was a good match. I agree that the setup to the splash that Bolton was going to do while Bishamon were holding the other guy, that it was too. It's definitely one of those like, oh yeah, this will get a pop for sure. Like discussions beforehand that like when you see it play out, you're like, I don't know, man. It's a little too contrived here for me.
Yeah, totally. Contrive's a great word. Afterward, Great Okan said they want the IWGP tag titles next. They called out Knockout Brothers. There's your Dominion match, I guess, and that is not one that really thrills me as a ticket holder. Along with that stupid 3-way for the global title. I'm like, I'm glad I love being in this country because the Dominion card is not like. It's one of these things where like people have said this shit to me before, like, oh, what if this show or that show is bad? I'm like, well, I'm still in Japan. I mean, it's okay. I'm still enjoying many things about being in Japan. The show's gonna be awful and it's not gonna ruin the trip or anything. But it is like Dominion is Dominion does look a little disappointing to me so far. I mean, maybe it'll over deliver, but it's definitely like at this point I'm like, wow, maybe I should have gone to Sakura Genesis again because that show is awesome. Main event, IWGP Heavyweight Title. Callum Newman defeating Shingo Takagi in 35-20 with the make way to make his first defense. Callum did a lot of stalling early, so much that I actually fast forwarded through some of it because we were in time crunch to try to start this before like fucking midnight at this point, this recording, I mean. Every shot of a face painted Jake Lee on Japanese commentary was funnier than the last. But during the stalling part, I would like go 10 seconds ahead. I'm like, oh, he's still stalling. Go 10 seconds ahead. And every time I did that, you'd see Jake Lee pop up with the fucking face paint. And I feel like that would make me laugh so hard I forget to skip another 10 seconds ahead. But yeah, after the first like 2 minutes, I didn't really skip ahead at all, which is why it took so long. I don't get the uproar about the Poi Callum thing. Like, people are like, oh, why didn't Poi beat him up? And she's a wrestler and she's so tough and blah, blah, blah. And she is. She's one of my favorite wrestlers going, if not of all time. But, like, the spot was 20 seconds long. Like, literally 20 seconds between when Callum sat down and, like, motioned for Poi to sit down and when Shingo dove in. So she didn't really have time to do anything. And she didn't even look like, people are like, oh, they had her as a damsel and she looked so scared. I'm like, I didn't think she looked scared at all, actually. She looked, like, confused and like, what is this white boy doing? But I didn't think she looked scared of Callum Newman. So I don't know. Do you disagree? Did you hate that spot too? Like a lot of people on Twitter seem to.
I mean, I didn't hate it, but I'm not necessarily like an overlap with the hardcore like Stardom fans or like I feel like I'm a very neutral party. So like I'm not gonna hate it unless there's a particular reason like inherently to hate it. Like
I'm looking at a screenshot of Poi's face, and she does not look frightened. I don't
know. I mean, she looked uncomfortable. But
uncomfortable, like, yeah, uncomfortable. That's fair. But like people were acting like she was fucking like, oh no, Callum Newman, please don't hurt me. Like she was not doing that.
Yeah, no, like she didn't look like she was in fear for her life or anything like that. Like my only critique was that he was telling her to sit down, and after like a long like back and forth, she kind of did go to sit down, like right as like Shingo was coming to like get Callum. And so like I feel like Shingo should have ran in to like stop her from having to be the one to make the decision to like actually sit down and kind of go along with like what Callum was doing. So like I feel like it went on a little bit too long and like Shingo should have broke it up like sooner. But like she didn't look like scared out of her mind. She more just kind of looks like, okay, like I don't want to do this, but like I was already sitting here kind of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I get it if you don't like the spot. It's not like it's my favorite spot I've ever seen either, but I thought people were making way too big a deal out of it. So, you know, people on Twitter overreacting to something. That'll be the day. I really liked how. So there were some very nice dives. First of all, first the missed one from Callum, then a beautiful one from Shingo, and then Shingo giving the poi sign to Poi right after that was awesome too. I didn't even notice he was doing it to her first until I like rewound it. But yeah, that was cool. Um, I liked how casually Callum just grabbed Shingo and gave him a quick backdrop suplex to the table on the floor. So many wrestlers really draw those kind of spots out and make them take forever now. So this did look far more natural. On the other hand, while I get what Callum was going for, I did not like his actual execution of that whole like standing up out of trading suplexes back and forth and no selling, but then just collapsing spot he did right for the 20-minute call. It just looked really hokey and unrealistic to me the way he went down. It was not a natural looking like collapse at all. So I did not think that looked good. On the other hand, the Callum fake Ozcutter thing has become one of my favorite spots because Shingo, when he like acts like he's gonna go for it and then just fucking hits the standing lariat instead. Really cool spot. Shingo just no sold the resulting lariat though and just lariated the shit out of him right back. That was great. Callum did the no sell DDT into an Ozcutter attempt thing a lot better than he did in the infamous G1 match that I didn't like. And Shingo being ready for it this time to hit the midair cutter on him instead was great too. Then he used the Prince's Curse on him for a 2 count, but Callum did that Jay White collapse thing that I've never been a big fan of. And then this part of the match was really where I was like, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. So Callum playing possum felt like it took eons. And then he just kind of punched Shingo in the gut once and immediately hit the Ozcutter. I thought that sequence was a little stupid, but then he sets up selling his knee off of that, which was just more possum playing. So why are we doing double possum playing spots back to back? It felt like it ground the match to a halt. I did not understand why they would structure the match that way. Like, just do one of these. Why do it twice? It was very weird. Callum then threw the ref out of the ring, and we got the run-in parade started, which, again, I like that they mostly avoided this in the Tsuji match last month because we have a fucking unit. There needs to be one unit in Japan that does run-ins at a time, not two. And, we got the run-in parade going. First, Zane, who got taken out by Daiki, and then Jake, who got taken out by Tsuji. But then he got super kicked by Callum. I was like, we don't need more of this. Like, last month, they just did one little spot where Ospreay stopped Zane from interfering. Like, just let him do his fucking low blows, but not all this fucking interference shit. But yeah, so that's what they were doing there. And then at that point, we go right into Callum hitting a bunch of moves on Shingo for 2 counts. The crowd did get really behind Shingo, chanting for him. And it's the part where it makes it easy to see why they go to the interference stuff, because it does always get a reaction. But the double fake stoppage run-in parade stuff just really took me out of it at home. I just was not into it at that point at all. Just the opposite of a big closing stretch to me. Very boring. The 3 straight Made in Japans, one of them coming after a block low blow. That was really cool. Then Ospreay came out to cheer Shingo right after he kicked out the last of the dragon. This was where it was kind of getting good again. Newman low-blowed Shingo, hit the last of the dragon on him. Ospreay was all pissed off at him, and Newman basically told him to fuck off even while he was half dead. I thought that was kind of funny. I liked the little interaction there. But then it just started running out of steam at the end to me again. Although as soon as I typed that in my notes, Shingo did hit a very nice poison Rana. But then Callum just hit another low blow and make way for the pin, which felt like kind of a flat finish out of nowhere. I don't know. This match was not any kind of great match to me. Just way too much stop and start. Another match where the finish sucked to me. I would feel stupid giving this lower than like 3.25. I would feel very performative doing that because there was enough really cool stuff they did here. But obviously for a 35.5-minute New Japan big main event, 3.25 is not a very good rating, at least by my scale. Some people seem to like give anything below match of the year under 4 stars. So, I don't know. But based on what people know from my scale, 3.25 is not very good for a big main event. But yeah, this was, I don't know. This was not a kind of great show at all. Just some enjoyable stuff, but nothing I really recommend too hard. Like, I guess the semi-main, but even that I wouldn't say like you have to run out and see it. So, these 2 shows were kind of downers, and I just wasn't, given how much I've been into New Japan this year for the most part. They fell flat in their face on these in Dontaku, at least to me.
Well, I'm curious what you feel like about Callum overall as a wrestler right now, because him winning the world title was a very controversial thing when it happened.
I definitely
And
felt a lot better about it last month than I did coming out of this match.
yeah, I to me, like my personal opinion on it, I feel like New Japan fans are very invested, and I mean like domestic fans, like fans that are there in the building. They react really big to Will Ospreay. And it feels very much like Callum Newman's title win was to set up something down the road for Will Ospreay. And especially like as we'll get to in the post match with them setting up the tag match with Tsuji and Shingo um, versus Callum, it it feels like we're on the road to getting the belt off of Callum like fairly quickly at Dominion. And I don't have a problem with Callum, and I think he's a good wrestler. There's just some stuff that is not like currently resonating with me. And I feel like this win, the title win where he beat Suji, was very much to get him over for the Osprey feud. And I don't know if the juice was worth the squeeze on that, because I feel like at this point, what would have been better for the company overall was going all the way with Suji and him not dropping that belt until at least like September, October, like somewhere in that time frame, to give him like the big establishing run with the title.
Yeah, because it felt like it was working, and it felt like they might. I mean, we'll see for Dominion what the number does. If Dominion does a great number with Suji getting his rematch, probably. I mean, we're both assuming. I think maybe it doesn't matter, but this show did not do any kind of great number with Callum and Shingo on top. So yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I don't want to overreact to one match that didn't land for me, because I thought Callum's work in the New Japan Cup was awesome. I thought his match with Suji was awesome. This match did not land for me, and it landed with some other people. I mean, I've seen plenty of other people think this match was awesome too. So, I'm not going to overreact to one match that did not land for me while I'm trying to get through 4 shows of like a fucking day, and pissed off about my hockey team fucking moving down 2 spots in the draft, and my baseball team losing to the fucking Rays again. So like maybe all that put me in a bad mood. I just wasn't going to enjoy this match anyway. I feel like stuff happens, right? I mean, but like I just didn't. I mean, there was enough stuff in this match where I'm just like, I don't know. I wish he wouldn't do the Jay White collapse stuff. I didn't really like it when Jay White did it. I thought the match structure to me was very flawed, as I talked about. Like, I didn't understand why they did 2 straight, Callum Newman is playing possum spots. Like, that was really weird to me, and really, really like just ground the match to a halt. So yeah, just there was a lot of weirdness in it to me. So I just didn't think this one worked. We'll see if they can have another awesome match with Callum and Suji next month, like they did last time. But yeah, this didn't do a lot for me either. Afterwards, Suji tried to stop Callum from beating up Shingo even more. Callum low blowed him with the belt. Jake held Shingo up for the same, but then Ospreay stopped him. Now this is the part where I can be like, I know this really, really, really annoyed some New Japan fans from what I've heard from. Actually, I've heard that from other people, so I didn't really see who was annoyed, honestly. But Callum called him Death Rider Billy. I like to get him. He's like, "Are you with us, you Death Rider Billy?" And to be honest, I had no idea what that was even referencing. Like, that's how out I am on AEW. Like, I was like, isn't he feuding with them? Like, I guess I'm really out of date or something. Is Moxley trying to recruit him? Is that what's going on in AEW now?
To make a long story short, yes. Like they basically he got kidnapped and now is like kind of halfway joining the Death Riders. I don't watch AEW regularly, but like to my understanding, that's where things are at.
So they're doing the Disco Inferno and the Mama Luke's angle from 2000. That's what they're doing. He's gonna join them now because they kidnapped him. It's a little.
I was 2 years old when that angle happened, so I don't know. Apparently, they did a thing where like Moxley abducted him like on Collision and was like, "We need to have a talk," and then they had a talk, and like Moxley was like, we will transform you into the greatest weapon that AEW has ever seen, like that sort of thing. And then like Marina Shafir did like physical therapy on Ospreay's neck and like helped fix his neck, which obviously didn't work because he has a broken neck, you know, as Walker was put over on commentary. So yeah, I don't know. Like
this sounds incredibly stupid. I have to say, I don't know. I'm going based on your explanation, so maybe it's the greatest thing ever for all I know. But she gave physical therapy to his neck. Is she like a therapist?
So like I didn't see the angle, but I heard she took a towel and like wrapped the towel around his neck and like pulled his neck, and like that kind of like snapped it like back into place, which like, you know, like I can see that, like I can see how that would feel good, but at the same time, like AEW has like a whole medical staff, you know, and they were teasing like in weeks leading up to that like his neck was still not healed from the surgery. So I don't understand how Marina Shafir, the former UFC fighter, like has the wherewithal to like fix his neck when like the doctors don't. But you know, that's I don't know.
Well, anyway, Death Rider Billy, that convinced him to give the what's it called, the
Hidden Blade.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not outraged about it or anything. It's just kind of funny to me. I'm like, Death Rider Billy, what the fuck does that even mean? So it's like one of these things where it's like, okay, we've upgraded from the days of 2018 where you had to watch a YouTube show to understand one of the biggest storylines in the company. Now you have to watch an entirely different promotion to understand one of the biggest storylines in the company. I don't know. Seems kind of stupid.
Well, okay, if I can play like defender for just 1 second, like I think the AEW storyline is fairly stupid. Like there's a lot of problems that I have with it, but I like the shorthand of it, of Callum calling him Death Rider Billy. I understand that in the sense that Callum was like, hey, you're aligning with this group that is like fucking heels and like fucking assholes on Wednesdays, but you don't want to give a guy a hidden blade right now. Like, oh, you're a pussy. Like, that's what I took it as like shorthand for. Yeah. And so like, if you don't think about it too much, like I think
I was gonna say, although that kind of makes no sense then for Ospreay, but it's like, yeah, why I could be a heel in America, but not in Japan. Like, it's a little weird.
Well,
I guess he's not being heel in America, but I could be with heels in America,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. So the motivations are a little all over the place for me, I guess, and just the fact that I have to, again, the fact that I'm expected to know what his AEW storyline is just feels stupid to me. I don't know what his AEW storyline is. I don't watch AEW. I'm watching New Japan. Again, I'm not outraged about it, but it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think if you take it at the face value of like, I will not like play apologist for AEW storylines, but I'll play apologist for Callum Newman in being like, hey, you're with these guys that are like fucking assholes on Wednesday, but you don't want to do a hidden blade for me? Okay, like that's what I have a problem with. And Callum Newman saying that to Will Ospreay is like, okay, I can see where he's coming from. Because Will Ospreay's with these guys that are like murderers on Wednesday, but then he doesn't want to do a hidden blade to Shingo on a Sunday. Like I can understand like Callum's point of view, like in the storyline.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of like it felt like one of these things was like, do we need this? I don't know. But I get his point of view.
We don't.
But, yeah, I don't know. It just felt like I don't know. Afterwards, he said it's him and Jake versus Tsuji and Shingo on this New Japan Road in Karatsu Ignition to Dominion in the Karatsu City Cultural Gymnasium in Saga Prefecture. That's coming up tomorrow. So I guess when some of you listen to this, you'll already know what happened there. But yes, it's Shingo and Tsuji against Jake Lee and Callum Newman. Now, Callum said if they win, Tsuji and Shingo can never challenge him for the title again, which I really don't. I guess, okay. I was going to say I don't need them bringing that AW shit into the company, but to be fair, he said they can never challenge him again. I don't know if that means during this reign or forever, whenever he's champion, but that's still better than that fucking, they could never challenge for the top title for the rest of their career again, which is the dumbest stipulation in wrestling, in my opinion. Because it's like at that point they have no reason to be in the promotion. I guess the idea that what he basically said, if one of you pin me, I'll give you the title shot Dominion. There's a Dominion main. That's kind of a good move as a heel because you're giving your opponents reason to not want to work together because only one of them can pin you and get the title shot. The weird question that all brings to me is what if one of them pin Jake Lee? Then nothing happens, I guess. That is kind of a little weird little thing. Like I don't know if I quite call it a plot hole. It's just a weird like. So yeah, so no one can pin. Like Jake Lee is just there, but if he gets pinned, apparently nothing happens. I would have just said if one of them gets the pin, period, then they get the title shot because making it they have to pin Callum just like why would Callum ever tag in at that point? It's very very weird. But of course it's going to be Tsuji and it's probably going to win the belt back. So. But yeah, and also Andrade with them is super weird because he wasn't getting involved physically in the post match. He's there when they're all acknowledging AEW Canon, and he's in a different unit in AEW Canon. He's in the fucking Don Callis family still, I think, unless that's changed. I don't think it has. And he looks like kind of different from the rest of them too. So it's very much like you're still here and you're still in this unit. Okay, like it just felt very weird. And he was being a total babyface the day before, while the rest of United Empire is kind of, total heels, obviously, besides Ospreay. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just felt kind of muddled. But there you go. There's your Dontaku. As you can tell, was not a big fan. But the only match I would call must watch on these two shows was the Tsuji, the Tsuji and Andrade match, the main event of night one. So.
Yeah, I think the ultimate heel move is Jake Lee tagging in that tag and then just getting pinned by Will Ospreay off of like a shoulder tackle and then creating all these plot holes and like all this stuff that has to be sorted out. I think that's like the best possible scenario. And really that's the biggest heel move possible is to take like a finger poke of doom, off of a shoulder tackle and then, make everyone else have to play politics.
Yeah, that would be funny. But yeah, there's your New Japan talk, everybody. Sorry, we were like a little. I shouldn't say sorry. We were a little bitter. I mean, at least me. I was a little like down on it. You didn't seem to be in love with the two shows either. Maybe you liked them a little more than I did, but.
Yeah, I mean, like New Japan has been like my favorite promotion this year. Like, it's really reminded me why I love wrestling. Like, I've always been like a huge New Japan fan, but like. This I will not stand here at the gates of hell and defend these two shows. Like there was some decent stuff on them, but like I'm not in love with the storylines right now. Like I'm not going to be upset if someone in the Voices of Wrestling Discord picks apart like the New Japan storylines because it's not.
Well, they probably won't fantastic. Because a bunch of it's connected to AEW, so they probably more likely to defend it in that case. But anyway, what I would say too. Is like the other thing I think is just kind of disappointing is like Dominion just doesn't look very exciting to me, which obviously is extra disappointing for me as a ticket holder. I'm sure it'll probably still be fun, especially being there, but I don't know. It's not. I mean, on the other hand, none of this was as bad as last year's Dominion, so I guess there is that. Like I'm not on here screaming and yelling like I was after Dominion last year. Just kind of nothing shows. What are you going to do? Let's go over to Tokyo Joshi, because this was a show I really liked. Tokyo Joshi Pro, Yes Wonderland 26 on May 4th at Korakuen Hall. This did a crowd of 1,087. That was way up from 732 in February for the Futariwa Princess Finals, the tag tournament finals. Also up from 756 for the last Yes Wonderland at Korakuen, which was 2 years ago. Last year, they took a year off during that long stretch where Tokyo Joshi was kind of avoiding Korakuen because they weren't drawing very well in it. This comparison comes up a lot, so I will say, too, the Tokyo Joshi versus Marigold comparison over who's the number 2 Joshi promotion. This is a bigger number than every announced Marigold number this year, except for 1195 for the Mayu Anniversary Show on January 24th. Now, Tokyo Joshi beat that number with their January 4th show, which was... not January 4th, I'm sorry, January 24th. Which was the Mayu Anniversary show. but that means Tokyo Joshi would still be like that's Tokyo Joshi's. This is Tokyo Joshi's second best number, in other words, because their best number was on the January 4th show, which I'm looking up now and should have wrote down, which was 1564. So their second best number was this show, and Marigold does not have another number over 1,000. So, Marigold's last number was 756 for the April 25th show with Miko Ano versus Utami. I can actually just plug this into my Korakuen average thing. Let's say what these two promotions are averaging now. Obviously, Marigold runs them way more often, but Tokyo Joshi with this show added. Where the fuck are you, Tokyo? Oh, do I not have them on here? Oh, there they are. So with this show added on their 3 shows, they are now averaging 1,1128 versus Marigold is only averaging 862 at Korakuen. Now Marigold's run it 5 times versus 3 times for Tokyo Joshi. So yeah, that is notable. Tokyo, I don't know. Tokyo Joshi, I find it kind of hard to not argue they're ahead at this point. They also did a great number at Ryugoku. And you know what? I just don't think they exaggerate their numbers as much as Marigold does. So that one guy always gets mad when I say that, can get in the YouTube comments about it again. But I just think Marigold exaggerates their numbers more than, pretty much anyone besides maybe Dragon Gate. Yeah, Marigold did 3,089 for the Ryugoku show. What did Marigold? Or Tokyo Joshi, did 3,089 for the Ryugoku show, Grand Princess. What the fuck did Marigold announce for their Old Awards show at the start of the year? They did the show I've still never watched for January 3rd. Yeah, they only announced 1,812, so way ahead. So yeah, I think that, who's the second biggest Joshi promotion in the country after Stardom? I think it's pretty easily Tokyo Joshi at this point. So there you go. We got introduced at the start of the show to Momo Sato again. So she was the underground idol and younger sister of DDT's Daichi Sato, who did some training with Heat Up as a child at one point, and then appeared in the Iron Man Battle Royal at the Ryugoku show recently. So she's officially becoming a trainee now. She will aim to make her debut soon. Worth noting, though, speaking of Marigold, actually, of the 3 trainees they recently introduced to us at the start of the year, only Shion has actually debuted. Another one of those 3 recently popped up ringside at Marigold and will apparently be debuting there soon. And the third seems to have disappeared entirely. So it's a good thing they have Momo Sato here, because she's replacing 2 other people that have seemed to, one left for another promotion, and one is gone completely. We then get our Up Girls performance. Now, John, here's the part where I ask you, did you watch the Up Girls sing?
Do you think that I watched the Up Girls?
I'm going to say yes.
I did not.
You let me down again, John. Let me down again. We got a video recap of all 3 titles changing hands at Grand Princess at the end of March, followed by all 3 of them being retained in Vegas at the show I was at only a few weeks ago now. Then we had our opener, which was Ren Konatsu defeating Shion Kanzaki with the shoulder bites in 5:45. I thought this was a below average opener. Ren is okay. I just have not seen anything from Shion so far. So I'm like 2 1/4 on this. Shion does not impress me yet. She's only a few months in, so there's time, but definitely not one of the people who's immediately great. That is for sure.
Yeah, the first 3 matches on the show were just dire straits for me. Like, this one was maybe the best of the first 3 matches.
Ooh, okay. We really disagree about one then, but that's fine.
Yeah, like, it wasn't bad. It just felt like green people wrestling, like, just not like anything focused or intentional or anything like that. Like, not horrible, but like no real like story or anything to like invest in.
Match 2 was Yuri, Wakana Uehara, and Kira Summer defeating Himawari, Shino Suzuki, and Chika Nanase when Wakana pinned Nanase with the Sushi Tornado in 12-12. So Yuri, of course, here making an appearance from Ganbare, Ganjoshi. She and Nanase both did the It's Karaoke from Stardom style, like loud ring introductions. Real good fire, I thought, from Shino here when she got squaring off of Yuri in the corner. Then she tagged in her bumping Gritters partner Himawari to do some hair whipping. but Yuri came back with some pretty stiff-looking grounded drop kicks. But just when I was getting into it, Wakana tagged in, and as usual, she was by far the most boring part of a match she was in. I guess if you really like completely blank facial expressions, it's actually the highlight for you, though. But I don't know. Just Wakana debuted a new finish, which, it's Fu, because it's Wakana. I don't know. Just low impact, instantly forgettable, some kind of twisting slam thing. I don't know. Going fine. This match was going fine till the world's most boring overeater tagged in and grounded to a halt. So overall, just okay. 2 3/4.
Yeah, Wakana's finish feels very like 2010s WWE coded, of just like hit him with something, like do like some type of thing and make him take a bump, and that's the pin.
Yeah, there's a spin here, so here's a spin.
Yeah, spin him around and bump him real quick, and then get the pin.
The next match number 3, was Mizuki, Mei Suruga, and Uta Takami defeating Yuki Aino, Raku, and Palm Harajuku. Mizuki pinned Harajuku with the diving foot stomp in 12:50. Mei Suruga, as always, was here to make me feel guilty for not watching Choco promo more often because she's so good. Uta got worked over to start before tagging out to Mei, who did some cool stuff with Aino. When she started rope walking with her, though, both Palm and Raku were like shaking the ropes to try to knock her off. When that failed to do anything, Palm just fucking screeched in her face, which does shock Mei so badly she fell off. And her look of utter terror as the adult-sized toddler was just so funny. Unfortunately, Raku tagged in next, and as always, I'm with my partner Nicole on this. I just don't get Raku. Just find her kind of boring. I get it. You're sleepy. You're always fucking sleepy. Mei, Mizuki, and Uta, though, just started running wild on her, though, which was pretty damn cool. But she was finally able to chop her way out and tag in Palm. Palm did some nice arm drags in the corner. Then she took her own shoes off to try and hit Mizuki with them. But then when Mizuki got the shoes away from her, she somehow pulled out backup shoes. I was like, what? Where the hell did the other pair of shoes come from? Palm took her shoes off again a bit later. Mizuki blocked the shoe attack, tossed them into the crowd. I believe she tossed both pairs of shoes in the crowd, actually. And then Mizuki and Uta double-teamed her before Mizuki finished her off with a double foot stomp. But yeah, I don't know. I like this match. I thought it was like 3 1/4. I enjoyed it, but nothing you really got to go out of your way to watch. But I like Palm Harajuku, so I liked her little antics, and I thought, Yuki Aino was doing some cool stuff here. And, pretty much I like 5 of the 6 wrestlers in this match. I thought they were all good. Just Raku was Raku. But
That's where we differ. I liked 2.5 of the wrestlers in this match.
Okay,
I was sort of neutral on Mei Segura. Like, I wasn't super familiar with her because I don't watch Choco Pro. Mizuki, I think, is awesome. And so I was just mad at everyone else in the match for bringing down what would be, like, Mizuki, I feel like, is one of the best wrestlers, like, in the world right now. And so, like, to see her have a match that I felt like was just, like, far below average just made me angry with everyone else involved in this. So I was like 1 3/4.
Well, we all hate what we hate. What are you going to do? I mean, Palm Harajuku is the type of comedy gimmick that I like, which I think she's actually funny, but Raku is Raku. So,
yeah, see, we both dislike Raku, but I don't like Palm. So that's where the separation comes.
Yeah, I get it. Match number 4, Aja Kong. Oh, before this, actually, they announced that there will be a Tokyo Joshi collaboration of some kind with Tokyo Idol Festival. Let me see if actually there's anything more on Dramatic DDT about it. It says they're bringing the collaborating Tokyo Idol Festival to hold matches during the TIF Asia Tour being held in Odaiba this summer. It's just the matches will be held July 31st, August 1st, and August 3rd. So yeah, Jamie didn't really have any other details on it either. Of course, the great headmaster of the Tokyo Joshi blog. But yeah, just that is held outside, by the way. I think mostly people don't know. I've never been to it. My friend is a big Idol fan, so I think he always goes to it. And he's like, yeah, it's really brutal because all this stuff is outside in Japan in August. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty brutal. I think they might have some events that are indoors, and hopefully the Tokyo Joshi wrestlers, hopefully they're indoors, because wrestling outside in Japan in August does not sound very fun. Match number 4 was Aja Kong and Yuki Kamifuku defeating Kakiru Sekiguchi and Mahiro Kiryu. It was Yuki pinning Kiryu with the Famouser in 941. I somehow forgot that Kakiru actually has a last name in this promotion, because he does in Oz Academy. It's pretty much the only other place I see her. I can't remember if that's new or not, actually. Maybe it is. I'm an old person, and Aja Kong has still been wrestling for longer than I've been alive. Like, officially really old person as of May 1st. But she's still been wrestling longer than I've been alive, which is insane. The crowd chanting for Mahiro when it's Kakiru who started is deeply funny. They are in on the joke. And Kamiyu ends up deeply confused and can't tell them apart at all. I did think that was very funny. Mahiro's apology of the day was for the two of them being so confusing alike, which makes sense. You definitely are. And the two of them stopped dancing around the circle just for Aja to be like, I don't really care if you're mixed up. I'm just going to slap you both in the face. That was very funny. And yeah, then Kamiyu puts away Mahiro without much trouble, which would make sense given what would happen at the main event. But yeah, fine for what it was. Some legitimately amusing comedy, and it didn't overstay its welcome. So 3 stars. What did you think of this?
This was actually my favorite match on the show up to this point.
Up to this point. If you were going to say favorite match of the show, period, I'd be like, what? But
no, not period. But like just up to this point, yeah. Like I was just really into it. Like I'm really big into Kamifuku, and so yeah, like I don't know, just everything clicked on this point. Like the comedy connected, like the in ring was there for me. Like yeah, it was. This was like the turning point of the whole show for me.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so via Jamie's notes here, Henri was the name of the trainee who was meant to debut alongside Shion. It was called off when she wasn't considered to be in the right condition to debut yet, and then nobody kind of heard anything about her. Then very recently, there was a Rossy Ogawa interview where he reviewed Marigold will soon have a new rookie who was originally supposed to debut somewhere else, and a few Japanese fans on Twitter were quick to recognize Henri at ringside at Marigold. So there you go. But yeah, this seems to happen a lot in Joshi. But you know, we're like, well, it happens in men's wrestling too, obviously, because you have like Kazuma Sumi went from Dragon Gate DDT without every debuting. But yeah, Joshi, this happens too, you know. But yeah, the third trainee, the one I was talking about before, is Yuka, which you know, we're not sure what happened to her. You know, I don't know if she's been at ringside or anything. But yeah, so nobody seems to really know. After this, we had Sumare Uesaka, who was the idol who won the Iron Man title back at Grand Princess, is going to be on the June 7th Korakuen as a guest commentator. As far as anybody seems to know, she's still the Iron Man champion, so presumably she'll probably lose it back to somebody there. After that, we had Ryo Mizunami beating Toga in 9:48 with a spear. Hell of a lariat battle for the short time this match lasted. The match got really behind Toga here. Always enjoy seeing Aniki, you know, Ryo Mizunami. But, you know, she was going to win this, of course. But yeah, I thought this was good, and I thought Toga looked good in defeat here. So I was at 3.5 stars on this. Good match. Any thoughts on Aniki and Toga? Are you? Oh, sorry.
No, okay. I should have bought a cinnamon roll.
Oh, no problem. When you're not eating cinnamon roll, I guess you can tell me if you got any thoughts on Toga and Ryo Mizunami. But wow, I think that might be the most full anyone's ever talked during a Omakase episode. I'm actually going to leave that in too because it's kind of funny. But yeah, good match. Just not a match that you know, blew me away or anything. I know a friend of the show, or I don't know if he listens to the show or not. I met him for 2 seconds at after the Stardom show, I think in Vegas. But JP from the Discord is in Japan right now, was in attendance. I know he's a huge Toga fan. He said this was his favorite match of the night. But there was one match of the show I liked a lot more than this. But so I think it was like third for me, honestly. But yeah, good match. And since I assume you're still eating cinnamon roll, I guess I can move on unless you had. Oh, okay.
Yep. No, I'm back. I'm sorry. I've done enough omakase that I know or I feel like I know like the John Carroll pauses. And so I was like, I wasn't prepared for like the interjection there. So I was running back to my seat.
No problem.
No, I thought this match was fantastic.
Oh, okay.
It's the strongest that I've seen Toga in quite a while. They did that match with her. I think the last time that we did Omakase together, that she had a title match, and she didn't look particularly strong in that. Like booking wise, she didn't look strong, but her performance was like relatively solid. But I feel like this level of performance was above what she gave in the title match. Um, so I think they're taking the long road with her, but I think it's paying off. Like I think her performances are continually getting like better and better, and I felt like she's been good for a couple years. So I think they're really close to having like an all-star like on their team once she's able to put everything together, which doesn't seem that far away right now.
Match 6 was Shoko Nakajima and Hyper Misao beating Miyu Yamashita and Sakura Hattori. It was Shoko pinning Sakura with a Kicho Kagome counter in 11-11. But yeah, this was the Kyoraku Kyomei team bouncing back from their loss to the Inspiration in Vegas. They beat Miyu and her former bird partner, who's now, her ninja partner. I thought it was okay, but also kind of super clunky at times for a match with like 3 vets like this. Just, I don't know, pretty disappointed by this in my, I just kind of expecting more out of this match. And the finish like came out of nowhere and not really in a good way. Just like Shoko, just the way she kind of just rolled her up and that was it. I just wasn't expecting it there. So yeah, like 2 3/4. It wasn't like bad or anything, but just barely above average to me, which I was expecting more.
Yeah, I'd say like around average. I think I might have enjoyed it a little bit more than you. But yeah, I mean, solid, but nothing incredible. Nobody really showed anything above, what you would expect from them in this situation.
The next match, this fucking match ruled so fucking hard. Suzume defeats Haru Kazushiro with the Ring a Bell in 12:55 to make her second defense of this International Princess title reign. First of all, Haru looks so much taller than Suzume in the video of them at the presser. And Suzume is very tiny, but she's like, I think she's like 152 centimeters and 5'0". And I'm like, okay, so I'm looking up Haru. I'm like, how tall is Haru? She's 158 centimeters, like 5'2". Like, I was like, did she have giant heels on, or was it a weird perspective thing in the camera? Because, I don't know, like it didn't look like a 2-inch/6 centimeter height difference to me. That was kind of funny. The age and experience gap here really favored Suzume. She's 27, approaching her 7th-year anniversary this August. Haru's only 18, which I always forget. I feel like she somehow looks older. But anyway, like I can usually tell who the young wrestlers are in Joshi. Maybe it's like the blue hair or something. I don't know. But Haru's only 18, and she just had her 3-year anniversary in late March, so definitely less experience as well. Now this match, she's working over Suzume's arm, and Suzume's selling was really fucking good in this match. At one point, she couldn't even do a springboard move to the floor that she wanted to do. She had to just like give up. And I can't remember the last time I've seen something like that in a wrestling match. Like it's the kind of attention to detail you really don't get very often anymore in modern times. And where Suzume is so great in a match like this, she's selling that she's in pain, but even between the spots where she's selling that she's in pain, she is so great with her facial expressions, just drawing you in and being like, I'm not just in pain. I'm fighting through this, and you should cheer for me because I'm going to fucking fight through this. I'm going to find a way to win. And, again, she's like, that is part of selling too. Like, not just selling like, ow, I'm in pain, but being like, I'm giving it my all anyway. And just great baby face, like fiery, like, fighting through the pain kind of stuff that really, again, I feel like you don't get enough of in wrestling these days. Just making it clear that she won't quit. Another way to put it, like just really, really, selling, but like fighting through the pain. Haru does a really good job working from the top too for someone who, again, is not that experienced. I love some of the offense she did here. There was one point where she's like working the arm and she transitions like really beautifully into this really, really cool looking cradle. Just really connected really well with all the arm-based offense she was doing. And it was a great near fall too. Like Suzume barely kicked out. So Suzume never stops selling the arm right up until she hits the running bulldog with the other arm and the ring a bell for the pin. I fucking love this match. I thought I was going to be really high on it compared to most people, but it looks like Cage Match had it like right around 4, and I was like 4.25. But to me, like I thought it was even more of like a 4 1/3 if I did those, which I don't really. But I thought about going 4.5. So that is really how much I love this match. For like a 13-minute third from the top match, I thought this was really, really awesome. So yeah, 4.25, 4.25 plus 4 1/3, whatever you want to say. Rock so much. And, Suzume, just one of my favorite wrestlers going. And Haru, there's I think really untapped potential with her at this point. And, she really got a chance to shine here. And I hope she keeps getting more chances because she looked really good here. So
How long has Haru been wrestling?
It's going to be the 3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
3 years. Okay. Yeah, it's like I remember when she started, I just couldn't place like when it was that she did. But like to see her improvement and like how far she's come like in 3 years, which may or may not sound like a lot of time, but to like see where she started versus where she's at now, like it's incredible. Like it makes me feel old. Like I don't feel old, but then I watch her and I'm like, oh my God, like this woman has like they're talking about her graduating high school and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember when she debuted and she was a baby, you know? So yeah, her performance in this match was incredible. Suzume, the same thing, but I mean, Suzume's been great for like a long time. So yeah, just a really
Suzume
solid
is like
match.
one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world probably right now because not a lot of people pay attention to Tokyo Joshi, but like she is that. I mean, she's really, 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 really good. One of those wrestlers where more people watch this promotion, she would be like getting way more attention.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Chihiro Hashimoto. Sometimes with like Sendai Girls is like everybody needs to tune in.
See, I feel like people talk her up a little more though. Maybe just the circles I run in, but like she gets talked up way more like on the Voice Wrestling Discord as like a Wrestler of the Year candidate and stuff. Which I don't know if I put Suzume quite at that level either, but like if she keeps having matches like this, she's gonna fucking build a case real quick.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Really good match. Like amazingly good match.
Then we had the Princess Tag Team titles. Miyu Watanabe and Rika Tatsumi defeating Jessie McKay and Cassie Lee when Miyu pinned Lee after the Daydream Eternity in 12:53. So the Inspiration fail in their second defense, and Daydream become the 21st Princess Tag Team champions. The early part of this match where Miyu was selling for these two looked particularly ridiculous at times. This is like, okay, I don't believe that this like fucking powerhouse of a woman would be selling like for these very light offense from the two model women here. But it doesn't go on that long. It's just mostly just takes a little bit at the start for the challengers largely take over anyway. I thought this was fine. I didn't dislike it. I was like 3 stars on it. I thought it wasn't a bad match or anything. It wasn't even a little better than above average. I thought it was pretty decent little match. Besides, like I said, the part at the start where I thought Miyu selling for them looked kind of silly, which is also kind of on Miyu too, because sometimes her selling doesn't look great. But good. It feels like asking that woman to show weakness. He's like, show weakness? What is weakness? But anyway, sometimes with her. But yeah, this is the first time Daydream's held these titles since the 2019-20 reign, which is kind of interesting. I didn't realize it'd been that long. But
yeah, I think that the inspiration benefits from being like the only like true blood heels like in TJPW right now. Like, and I assume that they're done like after this. Like, I assume this was the end of their time there. But like, I appreciated at least like the contrast that they brought. Where even though they weren't like fantastic wrestlers, like they at least brought like a different flavor to the table. So it was interesting to see how people like Miyu and Rika would work against someone that was like just a pureblood heel trying to get heat on them, as opposed to there are no real heels in TJPW. So yeah,
except Rika Tatsumi, Palm Harajuku, those are definitely heels.
Right. So yeah, like solid match, not terrible.
Yeah. mean, they had like I talked about the last time we talked about Tokyo Joshi. They had one bad performance, really bad performance, their first match in Texas, and then after that, everything they were in was pretty much like average to fine. So really, not a bad run at all things considered.
Yeah, it could have been a much worse run.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I thought it was going to be after that first match. Main event: Princess of Princess title. Yuki Arai defeats Alisu Endo with the finally in 2038 to make her second defense. I thought this was good. It didn't, especially early on, it didn't blow me away, which is kind of typical for Yuki Arai matches for me. Like no complaints, but nothing that's like really like drawing me in. Like, you know, I was just raving about what Suzume's selling or whatever. Where Yuki looked good is when she kept using her obvious like height and size advantage to keep putting Endo down with kicks. That stuff looked good. The leg lock stuff she was doing, I didn't think was anywhere near as interesting. When they started throwing really hard elbows to each other's chests at one point, which was cool. I mean, you don't normally see two Tokyo Joshi wrestlers do that a whole lot. Endo did sell the Scorpion Deathlock really well when Yuki got it on. She just kept going for it. I did find, there's another complaint from Yuki a lot. I found her angry / intense faces to be a little corny. Like she just doesn't do a great job at that when she goes for that. But Endo biting her own finger to prevent herself from tapping, that was great stuff. And really, that looked really, really good. I also liked Yuki paintbrushing her with kicks while holding onto the wrist. You know, she had the wrist control, as people would say. I thought that was pretty great. And it got the crowd to rally behind Endo. The more Yuki leans into that big bully energy more while keeping her facial expressions from getting out of control at the same time, the better she, comes off. Endo got a very good roll up on her, very, very close near fall. And then she showed off her strength, managing to briefly lift her much bigger opponent into the Argentine backbreaker position. But Yuki got out, hit the Rookie of the Year kick and the finally kick back to back for the pin. If anything, I would have liked to see our Alisu kick out there. Maybe I would take one more finally to put her away at least. But, what are you going to do? She got to fight hard here. She was crying a lot afterwards. That was very heartbreaking. I was a big fan of hers. But Yuki embraced her because they're close friends, apparently. But she cried again on the way to the back. But yeah, very good match, especially a great Endo performance. Didn't quite get to 4-star level for me, so it's a 3 3/4. And, Yuki Arai, obviously a draw, but obviously not quite to the level of a worker as Miyu. Maybe that's okay, though. Maybe it's okay. We get, different style of matches in these main events, but just not having like the bangers every time that Miyu would have. But, very good match still. It's not like this wasn't a very good match. Just not quite notebook worthy. Endo, on the other hand, is really great. And I think we're inevitably going to end up with her and Suzume for the international title at some point again. I cannot wait for that. So definitely going to be into that.
Yeah, a lot of people have been really critical of Arai, and I feel like this was a good match in silencing the haters, so to speak. Like, I feel like this is one of her strongest, like, singles performances, like, that I've seen in years, like, if ever. Yeah, I mean, Endo's been great for a long time, but, like, I don't know, like, it felt like a leveling up, like, for Arai in a lot of ways to me.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I mean, I don't know if there were aspects of her performance I didn't love, but I did think she was pretty good when she, the stuff she did that was good. I hope she leans more into it. Just a little bit of stuff to work on with the facial expressions and maybe not, maybe the leg work being a little boring, but, Kamiyu came out after this to be the next challenger. That will be an interesting battle of long-legged kick wrestlers, at least. I did like when she was like, I hate singles matches, and I think title matches are a pain. She was like, well, I could tell you thought title matches were pain based on your whole tag title reign, girl. But anyway. But yes, but I guess she's telling the truth, though, because believe it or not, this is her first ever. There's going to be her first ever Princess title shot, which is crazy. But yeah, she held the international title, right? The international princess, I think. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, like 99% sure she did.
Yeah, I just want to see when it was. Yuki Kamifuku.
I feel like it was like early last year, maybe.
No, wow, it was way earlier than that. It was so I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of the SPW Queen of Asia title she held. She held it for a long time. That was November 2023 all the way through May 2025. The international princess title she held, which is SPW Singapore for wrestling. People don't know. The international princess title she held was November 2020 to May 2021. So it's been quite a while since she held an actual Tokyo Joshi singles title. But, I mean, she made a bunch of defenses of that Queen of Asia title in Tokyo Joshi, I think. Yeah, like 3 of them. So, you know, she kind of was a champion in Tokyo Joshi, I guess, for more recently. But anyway. That'll be interesting, though. Kamiyu getting a princess to princess title shot for the first time. We'll see next month in June. I know, again, to mention Jamie from the Dramatic DDT site, he was mentioning that he thought she could have a chance of winning if they want to transition the belt to another younger wrestler and go with a different older wrestler to capture it from, Yuki Arai, besides the typical like Miyu Yamashita or Shoko Nakajima or Rika Tatsumi you might expect. And Rika obviously is busy now. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it, but I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe Jamie will be right. Just would feel like kind of quick to me to have Yuki Arai lose the title already. But what do you think? Do you give Kamiyu any chance?
I'd lean towards Arai, or at least I think the smart decision would be to lean in towards Arai and just try and elevate her stock as much as you can, so that way you have another draw outside of Watanabe, who's a proven draw at this point for TJPW.
Yeah. As an aside, by the way, they mentioned this phrase "you're always the youngest today." I've never gotten that phrase because it's really not true. The youngest you've ever been is when you were born. Oh, they said the phrase wrong, I think. Isn't "you're always the youngest you'll ever be"? I think is the actual phrase. But anyway.
I think that would be true. The youngest, the last time you will be young is today. You will get older every day beyond today.
Yeah. Very true. Anyway, this was a very good, very enjoyable show. There's only one match I'd say is must watch, which is the International Princess title match, but really you can't go wrong with this show. Everything up and down the show was, there was some stuff early on that wasn't that great, but everything else was really good. I still like the main event, even though I wouldn't quite call it a must recommend match. But the International Princess title match, absolute must watch. So, any other final Tokyo Joshi thoughts before we move over to DDT?
The main event was up there with pretty much the best stuff from Dontaku. So if you're trying to figure out what to watch, there's only a match or two off of the 2 shows of Dontaku that would be in the same neighborhood as the main event of this show. So,
yeah, I think I only gave one match 3 3/4. Besides that, the Yodatsuji Andrade match, I gave 4 1/4. So it's there's 2 matches off the Dontaku shows that were any good to me or really worth watching that much, and then the main event of this show and the International Princess title match. So I don't know, dude, not a great couple days for New Japan. Tokyo Joshi Pro, June 7th, standalone 2026. We have 2 confirmed matches, which is Miyu Watanabe and Rika Tatsumi defending the Princess tag titles against Mizuki and Uta Takami. I forgot to mention they came out at the end of the tag title match, which that sounds fucking awesome. And then the Princess title, Yuki Arai versus Yuki Kamifuku. So there you go. That is going to be your 2 title matches. I guess we don't know what if anything we're getting for the international title yet, but we'll have to wait and see. And that brings us over then to DDT, who also had a show on May 4th from Korakuen Hall. They never announced their crowd, so I can't give you any kind of crowd number. It was the King of DDT first round, so mostly singles matches. This was this is my first time, by the way, checking on DDT in a little bit, because their last Korakuen show was March 16th, I think, and that was the same weekend as WrestleMania weekend. I was gonna watch it and cover it, but I just kind of missed it and just never went back to watch it. So I never saw that show. I think the last show I saw was the early March show where we had the Higuchi retirement. So my first time dropping back in on DDT, and the show was good. This was a show with a lot of matches that were just good, just kind of up and down the card. One match I thought was great, but I do seem to be the high person on it, even just going by cage match. So we'll see. I'll have to wait and see what you thought. The opening dark match, there were 2 of them, was first of all Jun Akiyama, Yuki Ishida, and Rukia defeating Naomi Yoshimura, Viento Molino, Tomomitsu Matsunaga, and Masami Inahara when Rukia pinned Molino with the R Fisherman Buster in 650. So yes, folks, we had Jun Akiyama working a dark match here. That was something. Well, when the whole main card is King of DDT first round, I guess that's what happens if you're not in the King of DDT. It was very weird seeing the former Harimaro teammates, Yoshimura and Ishida, going at it. They did do a cool sumo sequence, but yeah, I was like not ready for that at all, really. But yeah, deeply average match though. Besides that one very short sequence, it just existed 2.5. Did you not watch this? Or do you have any thoughts?
I didn't see the dark matches.
No problem. So the other dark match was a 3-way tag: Yuki Ueno and Shuma Katsumata beating Daisuke Sasaki and MJ Paul, and Antonio Honda and Hinata Kasai. Ueno submitted Kasai with a crab hold in 6:03. Again, this happens to include the KOD champion since he's not in King of DDT either. Sasaki is just back from his US tour. So he and Paulie challenged for the tag titles in Sapporo unsuccessfully on May 2nd, just a couple days before this. He had been gone since losing the Universal title to Sumi on March 22nd at Judgment. And I realized, by the way, before I said I hadn't seen the March 16th, so I meant the April 16th or whatever the date on that was. But anyway. But yeah, he had been gone since losing that title to Sumi on March 22nd at Judgment. I kind of thought he was going to go straight from the US to Best Super Junior and just not be back in DDT for even longer. But he ended up stopping back in here, even though he's going to be gone again in less than 2 weeks, since counting from May 2nd to the first night of the Best Super Junior, which is May 14th. So I thought it was a little better than the other dark match, but not by much, like 2 3/4. So let's go straight to the opening match of the main show and the opening match of the first round, which was a really good match, I thought. Hideki Okatani defeating Yuya Kuroko with the Skewered Claymore in 11:21. Really good start to the show. These guys worked super hard. Just had a much better match than I was expecting. And maybe Okatani, since winning the Extreme titles, finally starting to break out of his shell as a heel a little bit. But and Kuroko just sold his ass off for him here. So I went 3 3/4. Really good match.
Yeah, really, really solid. It feels like Okatani is another guy that's kind of leveling up a little bit. Like I feel like he showed a lot more than what he's shown in recent experiences. So
yeah, totally. He might be getting ready to turn on Sasaki soon. So maybe that has him all fired up. Then we had match number 2, which was Takeshi Masada beating Toy with the Masada no Chikaru Kobu Muki Muki. Try saying that 10 times fast. 8:47. The winner of this was facing Hirata, the winner of Hirata versus Dino in the second round, which gave me a little bit of hope that Toy would move on, given how wacky he is too. I thought maybe they're going to give him a wacky second round match against the comedy wrestler, but no. Masada was obviously going to win this. I mean, he's the favorite to win the whole tournament, in my opinion, so that is not a big surprise. I was just hoping that I hope my boy Toy would win this one. I did love his dive to no one in the middle of getting the crowd to chant for him because he was like trying to shield his eyes from Masada's outstretched fingers. That was very funny. And the whole match was basically just like this mix of good action and bizarre stuff. Really the Toy special. But 3.5. Thought it was quite good.
Okay, so I do have a question about this.
Okay.
The way Masada was like motioning with his middle fingers, was that like a Poison Sawada Julie reference? Like the way that he was kind of like waving his finger, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the way he
Yeah. I didn't even think of it until you said it though, so that was good. I had a good connection.
I wasn't sure because like Toy was like selling that really big, like he would cover his eyes whenever Masada did it, and so I didn't know. Like I assumed there was like some stuff that I didn't understand because I don't speak Japanese. That I was missing there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So Masada had 2 fingers. Okay, apparently this is because, and again, I'm going off of what Jamie wrote here. Toy did not get over having Masada's 2 fingers stuck down his throat. I guess that happened recently because he actively started to gag whenever Masada raised his fingers towards him. He eventually got over his fear midway through the match, but it wasn't enough of a difference maker to actually make him win. So there you go. That's the explanation, apparently. But good connection with the Poison Sawada Julie. That was as good a theory as any. Match number 3, Chris Brooks defeated Junta Miyawaki with the Praying Mantis Bomb in 11:51. Junta was like, he like drop kicked Brooks from behind while he was still posing and like tried to beat him, like roll him up immediately. And I love when people do shit like that in a single elimination tournament, especially. It's like, show me that desperation. Single elimination. Thought it started hot, had a bit of a lull in the middle, but still ended really hot too. And Junta really, he got these like repeated near falls where it looked like he was going to be able to pull off the upset before he was finally put away with the Praying Mantis Bomb. And was very unhappy about it, obviously. But yeah, another 3.5 star match, another damn good match.
Yeah, I'm still in love with the Sunshine Schoolboy that Junta does. Like, just something about that pin, like, it's just fantastic to me. Like, it just makes sense, and it just scratches like a part of my brain. But yeah, no, I mean, it was hot from the start. Like, I think we referenced like other stuff from like previous omakases, but I think I asked you about like the last time we watched a DDT show together, that Junta was like really upset and like throwing a fit about losing to Brooks and Hiroshima. So I feel like it's just continuing like a storyline because he was very upset like when he lost again here to Brooks. But it feels like that's something that they're setting up to pay off down the line of like Junta finally either beating Brooks or Hiroshima or both of them at some point. So I was able to, like, I wanted Junta to win, but like it seems like they're setting up something down the road to pay that off later. So
yeah,
fantastic
totally.
match.
Hiroshima defeated Daichi Sato in match 4 with the Samato in 7:48. Pretty quick match, but I love the sudden knockout finish with the Samato, where Hiroshima basically shrugged off multiple kicks from Sato and then just got the flash pin like this is fucking Fire Pro, and he got the critical. Very cool finish. I feel like a broken record here, but it's another damn good 3.5 star match. Just everything on the show was just, about 3.5 stars, except the opener that was 3 3/4.
Yeah, they didn't do anything on this show like last year where they did the really short match with Hiroshima and Brooks, but it feels like they kept everything really short and really tight. And so everyone knew they had a limited time going in. And so everything was just like fast from the go. Like every match was just 100 miles an hour from the start.
They also they announced after this match some kind of DDT photo exhibit. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. That's going to be in late July, though. I was like, if it was in June, I could have checked it out, but not in June. Match number 4 or 5 actually was Shinya Aoki defeating Cannon with the European Clutch in 12:31. This was the first match where I was like not that into it. Like I thought it was okay, but like when you get a change of pace match like this, because this is almost entirely mat based, that can be a good thing. But in this case, I was like, I don't want a change of pace. I was enjoying the pace, like of all these matches. I didn't need to slow it down really. So maybe that could have been the bigger problem to me. But yeah, I don't know. Just sometimes I really like Aoki, but I just didn't think anything here really, spoke to me here. I thought it was okay, like 2 3/4. I don't know.
I thought it was another 3.5 star match. I fucking love this match. I especially specifically the finish, where like Shinya was going for the like the European clutch, and he had the arms like throughout the entire stretch, and Cannon wouldn't lift his legs up because he was like, if I lift my legs up, this fucker's gonna pin me in that cradle type situation. And so he kept like trying to spin his way out of it. He kept trying to stand up. He kept trying to do anything because if he knew if he pulled that one specific counter that he was going to get caught and he was going to lose. And so they fought and fought and fought over this stretch of like 2 to 3 minutes. And then finally he's like, God damn it, I can't do anything else. And so he tries to raise his hips back so he can kip up out of it. And Aoki drops his legs down and catches him in the pin and then pins him off of it. And so like, I just love sometimes when you telegraph that like, hey, if I mess this thing up, I'm going to lose. And they spent like a solid, 2 to 3 minutes setting up Cannon trying to escape something. And then he messed that thing up and then he lost. So like you knew what the finish was going to be several minutes beforehand, but then when they paid it off, it was just very satisfying.
Yeah. But I mean, you definitely liked it more than me, so I get it. I guess just was not in the mood for that kind of match or something. I guess. The next match was Minoru Suzuki defeating Yuki Onaya with the Got Style Power Driver in 16-17. So I don't know, this match, like early on, I thought it was kind of boring. I felt like the outside the ring brawling kind of went on forever. But once they got back in the ring, I actually really liked it. And what this match excelled at is that Naya is somehow really good at being this likable underdog, despite being so much bigger than the vast majority of his opponents, obviously including Suzuki. He has that same like, I don't know, like big helpless puppy dog kind of energy that like Lady C has in Stardom, where even though she's way bigger than everybody, she can come off as the underdog really well. Of course, Suzuki's very vicious and makes it very easy for him here. But like, yeah, I thought Naya did a great job, playing the underdog here, despite again having a huge size advantage on his opponent. Suzuki did this really cool last moment counter of Naya going for the backdrop suplex. Like the way he turned it into a crossbody in midair, pretty much at the last possible second, I thought was really cool. He got a guillotine on. He's able to hit the Gotch pile driver after Naya did a really good job trying to block it. And that, of course, got the pin. I thought the early part was boring, but everything else was so good on this. I still went 3.5. So good match.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting the way the last couple minutes played out. I haven't seen a lot of Suzuki's like independent stuff, but it felt like the last few minutes he was giving Naya control. And so, like, when he hit the Gotch style pile driver, it wasn't like he had been in control for like the majority of the match and then just hit the move and won. It felt like he was really giving Naya the chance to shine before he kind of just snuck that in there at the last minute and won. And so, as someone that's watched Suzuki like the last 10 years or so, it's interesting to see him sort of take a little bit of the underdog role. It's not like he was the fighting underneath like babyface the whole time, but like maybe the last like 5 minutes leading into him hitting the Gotch style pile driver, I feel like Naya had like a good bit of control for most of that. So it's just interesting to see Suzuki kind of shift his role around a little bit and kind of adapt as he's getting a little bit older.
The next match was Danshoku. Oh, and I should mention, I guess I could just go over all the second round matches at the end. The next match was Danshoku Dino defeating Kazuki Hirata with the Got style Danshoku driver in 11:26. The cool thing about this match is I didn't really think, like, some of these matches, the bracket I thought kind of gave away who was going to win, especially once you knew who the first round opponent guy was. The guy they would be facing second round, I should say. This match didn't give away shit, because either way, it would be Masada versus Comedy Guy, which I thought was kind of cool. Hirata tried to attack Dino before the bell. It nearly backfired on him when Dino almost pinned him with the Gato clutch immediately. Of course, kicking out just got him sexually assaulted right after, so maybe he should have just taken the L there. But yeah, straight ahead, mostly serious match besides the Dino stuff. Even Hirata's glasses music spot was just an elbow slugfest between the two, which is really kind of cool. There were also a lot of cool near falls here. Like Hirata rolled Dino up out of nowhere after he hit the moonsault and very, very nearly pinned him. That was really, really cool. And they end up in a kiss battle where Hirata tried to fire back up and kiss Dino back to subdue him instead, but ultimately could not prevail against the Kiss Master. And Dino then hit his power driver to win. I know the Dino stuff just really upsets some people and they cannot watch it at all. I understand. I never try to tell people how to feel about this. If you don't mind it, I think when Dino has like these quote unquote serious matches where he uses his stuff, just to try to win the match and doesn't go all in with the ass stuff at all, I think he actually can be really good. And I thought this was another example of it. I went 3 3/4. I thought this was really fun.
Yeah, I thought his brain busters there near the end looked like really incredible. Like, yeah, it's just exciting to see when the two comedy guys decide to like go at it like full speed. And yeah, like it was just a really like well worked, like basic simple match.
The next match was Mao defeating Kazuma Sumi, the main event, I should say, with the Rock Killer in 21-12. The match started just as fast and furious as you'd expect. Sumi did a very cool double rotation head scissors in the ring, but when he tried to dive on the Mao on the floor, Mao just like fucking shoved him aside, like shoved him right off him, right into his own manager too, which is kind of funny too. Himawari, I mean. But that, I don't know if I've ever seen that spot before. It was such a cool spot. Like I've seen Samoa Joe just kind of walk out of the way, but I've never seen a guy just be like, I'm gonna push the guy out of, like, be like, yeah, you're too small, and I have this big barrel chest. I'm just pushing it off my chest. I thought it was really cool. From there, they pretty much never stopped. Even though I wouldn't say every single spot landed 100% perfectly, it was still a blast to watch. There was this great flash cradle sequence that saw Sumi very nearly get the win with the schoolboy, but Mao was able to roll right through it into the just face lock, got the very long submission tease. Sumi was just about to get to the ropes, but Mao rolled him back to the middle, and Sumi finally had to tap out. I guess that's the rock killer, the just face lock. But yeah, great finish, great match, 4 stars.
Yeah, if you were really big into selling, this was not the match for you.
They did not sell a lot, no.
Yeah, I have a very mixed relationship with this match where, like, I can objectively admit that, like, everything they did looked really good. Like, they hit most of what they were going for, and the intensity was there, and the execution was mostly there on, like, everything they did. It's just, like, nothing really was sold and nothing really registered. And so, like, I understand if it feels like they were really going for, like, a we hate each other, or, like, we're friends wrestling each other, so we're going to try and kill each other type match. And, like, if you look at it from that perspective, like, it's a lot of fun. And if you're just looking for fun in a match, I feel like it's a really fun match to watch, of just 100 miles an hour, like a million spots, like that type of match. But there wasn't as much of a greater story told in this. I thought in the first couple minutes, like, Mao was really laying it in on Sumi. And so, like, I almost started to feel bad in the sense that, like, he was just kind of eating him up and he wasn't really getting in much offense. And I was thinking about how Sumi won the title, where Sasaki kind of dominated that title match for a lot, and then Sumi just kind of won at the end. And so it's like, man, you know, they're really not giving that much to Sumi right now. Like, he doesn't feel like a strongly booked champion. And he ended up getting like a decent amount of offense in later on in the match, so it wasn't as bad as when Mao won. But, like, if all you're watching is the DDT big shows and you see, like, the title match where Sumi won the belt, and then this match, like, up until the first half, you're like, man, they really don't give Sumi all that much. So, yeah, like, I wish Sumi had gotten in, like, a little bit more outside of, like, the flash spins there at the end. But, I mean, yeah, like, solid match. I want better for Sumi. I want him to be booked a little bit stronger.
So there you go. That, I mean, I kind of agree. Yeah, I feel like he could easily be booked stronger than this, but I just didn't give him much of a chance moving on, because Mao to me feels like the next most likely person to win this after Masada. Maybe it's Okatani. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Who do you have winning this thing?
After this, I feel like Mao is at least a finalist.
Yeah. And it could be Mao Masada could be the finals based on where they are in the bracket. So,
yeah, it's time for Masada to start racking up a resume here.
Yeah. Besides great first place in Konosuke Takeshi look-alike contest, I guess. So yeah, your King of DDT second round on May 9th is Dino versus Masada, Suzuki, which, by the way, is a Shinjuku face. Dino versus Masada, Suzuki versus Brooks, Harashima versus Aoki, and Okatani versus Mao. They also announced, by the way, that there's going to be a 3-way Universal title match for Sumi in France, of all places, against someone named Leeds Lewis, who I assume is also from France, and then Gringo Loco from GCW, and it'll be for the Universal title. So good for him, I guess. Hope he doesn't lose his title, either one of those people. But yeah, the King of DDT second round on May 9th. That's coming up from Shinjuku Face. we will cover it next week, and John's going to be back on with me to do that. So next week we'll do the next round of King of DDT. There's a 3-way tag, looks pretty cool too, actually. It's on that show. Yuki Ueno, Shunma, and Toy versus Kazuma Sumi versus Junto Miyawaki and Rukia versus Cannon, Yuki Onaiwa, and Viento. That could be quite good, actually. A show I want to mention too, I don't think we're going to cover it on the show, but I need to remember to watch it. The Yukinoi Matsuri special produce show on May 17th in Osaka has a Takeshita and Yuki Ueno versus Jun Akiyama and Shuji Ishikawa main event. So I'm into that. And then ZSJ is on this show too, teaming with Chris Brooks against Harashima and Shinya Aoki. So,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, Dick Togo is on here too, teaming with Hideki Okatani against Shuma Katsumata and Kohei Kinoshita. I don't even know who that is actually. But yeah, there's some Kikutaro and Kunshibo Kamen are on this show. A bunch of stuff. Looks kind of cool. Shima's on this show. What the fuck? And Magnitude Kishiwada. Wow, wait. Just a hell of a show there in Osaka. So I don't know if we'll cover it.
The stars are out.
The stars are out, indeed. All right. So we will wrap this up with the Champion Carnival, the one night I managed to watch from May 2nd, which was night 7 of the tournament. I have enjoyed this tournament, which way more than I thought I would going in, honestly. And this show was really no different. It was from the South Tohoku General Wholesale Center in Koriyama, Fukushima, an announced crowd of 485. Once again, I will give the results for the non-tournament matches, but I only watched the tournament matches. So the opener was Ryuki Honda beating Shotaku Fuji in 6:02. Then we had the team of Shotaro Ashino, Go Shiozaki, Odyssey, and Zion defeating the team of Nobuhiko Kimura, Seiki Yoshioka, Ryo Inoue, and Atsuki Aoyagi. Go pinned Kimura in 10:13 with the powerful lariat. Our first tournament match was Kuma Arashi beating Kengo Mashimo in the A block in 10:37 with the diving senton. I thought it was like a little slow paced and boring early, but we did finally get some better action a bit later. Kuma, he like fell off the second rope with Mashimo on his shoulders, just like trying to choke him out. Just for that 10-minute call, that was a pretty great spot. Then it was like the old Vader crush spot, I guess, where Vader used to get crushed by this a lot. Then he hit the senton off the top for the pin. It was a bit too boring for too long compared to its short runtime, but the end of it was really good. So I'll go 3 stars. Fine overall.
Yeah, that's about where I had it. I've enjoyed Kuma in this tournament, but like
besides the Kento match, that's the only one.
I don't know. I think I enjoyed the Kento match a little bit more than you, but
it
like
would be difficult.
Right. Well, you're out on the Kento formula, so
I am stop the Kento. Yes. Although as we're going to talk about, this was probably my favorite Kento match so far. I think besides the 4 1/4 one he had, I guess. So second favorite. Match number. Actually, no. What was that even him? I think of the wrong person. Let me say what. Let me don't. I have a spreadsheet. I don't have to misquote myself. Kento. Yes, this would be my favorite Kento match on this show. I didn't go over 3.5 before this. Match number 4, before we get to that, was in Block B, Ren Ayabe defeating Daisuke Sekimoto in 12:28 with the Death Roulette. They did a test of strength early that Ren made some very unintentionally funny faces for. This crowd at this point, I was worried about this show because they were a lot quieter than the Champion Carnival crowds have been this year, and often All Japan crowds are in general, which was not going to help. But they did get more and more into both this match and then the show in general as it went on. They did a good strike exchange. Both guys were really clubbing each other hard before Sekimoto hit a nice spear at the end of it. And when Ayabe hit a superplex on Sekimoto and Sekimoto popped right up and no-sold it, the crowd did go nuts for that, and that's where they got into this match and really were into the other matches in the show too from this point. So it was all thanks to Sekimoto no-selling the superplex. He saved the show. There was a second strike exchange. Ayabe hit a forearm to Sekimoto's face. It sounded like a gunshot went off. Sekimoto, though, took him out with a quite hard layup for a 2 count. That was great. And then Ayabe was able to put him away with his spinning Falcon Arrow Death Roulette thing not long after that. Very good match. 3 3/4. Did quite enjoy this. Ayabe's like the ultimate feast or famine guy for me in this tournament because I have him now with a 3 3/4 and a 4, also a 2 and a 1, and then a 2.5, like I guess directly between. But yeah, I mean he's He's either great or he's either in great matches or bad matches, basically.
Yeah, I think he's in my worst match of the year so far on night one with Jun Saito.
I hated that match too.
I despise that match.
I think that was the one I gave the 1. But let me just double check. Yes, that was the one I gave the 1. So that is my least favorite match of the tournament as well.
I think I might have given. I'd probably go lower than a 1 on that one. Like I have not hated that. I've not hated a match that bad in a long time. Like that match made me question if I was going to watch this whole Champions Carnival or not.
But look, it was all up from there, I guess, because even the other match I didn't like wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, and like Sekimoto, like
he's been great.
He's been fantastic, and like he's not as great as he once was, but like you look at him, like I mean that's the measuring stick right there. Like he's in there with an Ayabe, and he's having. I think this is Ayabe's best match of the tournament so far.
Like I was second best behind the. I really liked his match with Yuma Ayagi. I give that 4.
I can understand that. Like for me, like my personal taste, I think I like the Sekimoto match more. But like, to get that level of match out of Ren Ayabe, whether it's like him or Aoyagi, like that's a big effort to get that.
Yeah, totally. Match 5 was Seiko Tachibana, Hideki Suzuki, and Musashi defeating Dan Tamura, Hokoto Omori, and Aizawa number 1. Seigo pinned Tamura in 8:03. Then we had the Champion Carnival Block A, Yuma Anzai defeating Talos in 12:10 with the running double knee attack. This match started out with Talos like press slamming Anzai all the way to the floor pretty early on, which was a pretty insane bump to take on a small single cam Carnival show. Besides that one crazy bump, I didn't think this match was anything that special, but there really wasn't anything wrong with it either. I went like 3 stars on it. It was fine. Without that sick bump from Anzai, probably would have been a little bit lower though, but you know.
I just love how over Talos is with the crowd.
He's really over. Really
he's
over.
So over and he's so good. Like Talos to me is the answer to the question of what if Kevin Nash had knees throughout his whole career. Like I love Talos. He's genuinely, I won't say he's one of the best wrestlers going today, but he's one of my favorite wrestlers going today because I always just enjoy like just seeing what he does like in situations like this.
Yeah, I mean you're like the world's biggest Talos fan, I think, but I've mostly enjoyed him this tournament. I mean, I'm trying to look at where I have his average. Yeah, I'm at 2.9. I mean, definitely not close to the worst. And he had a match with Rei Saito. I gave 3.5 to. I mean, you know, he's had a perfectly fine little tournament. So, the next match, Champion Carnival Block B, was Madoka Kikuta losing to Yuma Aoyagi. His first real loss, since his other loss was a double count out. So yeah, he lost to Yuma Aoyagi in 1929. Yuma pinned him with the Fool. Love that move name. Yuma like picked Kikuta's Dream Gate belt off the mat and like turned his back to him to hand it to the outside attendant, which got him jumped from behind by Kikuta. Kind of funny. I don't mind that it made Yuma look like an idiot because he mechanically is an idiot. So, you know. Wada yelling at Kikuta to shut up while he was like counting for Yuma to stop stepping on him using the ropes, had the crowd in stitches. That was pretty funny. Because like Yuma's stepping on him basically. And he's like, and Wada is counting. But Kikuta's like yelling up to him, and Wada's like, you know, 1, Urasai, like 2, Urasai. Like he keeps yelling at Kikuta to shut up in between every count, and the crowd is laughing their ass off at it. I'm like, you know what, it is pretty funny, so I get it. But yeah, I thought this match was awesome. I mean, they did some really hard chops and strikes. There was one in particular on the outside that like just echoed over the whole building. Had a really, really strong closing stretch. You know, Yuma like ducked the discus lariat, hit his own big lariat, hit the Fisherman's Buster for a near fall, and then finally put him away with his spinning brainbuster thing for the pin, which, you know, awesome match. Went 4 stars on it. One of my favorites of the tournament so far. Just they really delivered here. And Yuma Aoyagi, I cannot praise this man enough. He's just been so great. I think we actually said he did a DUI last week, by the way, which he didn't. He just ran a red light or something and crashed his car with with no license, which is why he got suspended. Still not good, but not as good, not as bad as a DUI, obviously. But yeah, he has just had an outstanding fucking tournament. I mean, I think he has my highest average rating. I'm just double checking. I believe that. I mean, it has to be the fucking case. Yeah, 3.71, which definitely the highest in B block, and I think it's the highest overall. Yeah. So, like, I mean, he is like the man in this tournament from a work rate standpoint. I mean, he is carrying this thing to a degree. There's been other people I really like too, but he is really like the MVP of this tournament. So,
yeah, and I'd like to give some shout out to Kikuta at the same time. Like,
he's been good
his
too.
match. Like his match with Sekimoto. I won't say it was the best match of the tournament, but it's one of my favorite matches of the tournament just because like the chop exchanges that he gets in sometimes are just insane. And I'm just like, I'm such a big fan of like the strong physicality with like the chops and the forearms. And so him and Sekimoto was like right up my alley. But he brought the same thing here with Aoyagi, and there was like a different dynamic with Aoyagi coming back with the drop kicks and then the brain busters. And yeah, I mean, he was fantastic in this match. I feel like he's been really good like throughout the entire tournament. Like a lot in this tournament has like over delivered to a big degree, and I feel like Kikuta has been like part of that. But I mean, Aoyagi at the same time for sure.
So yeah, I have Kikuta at 3.63. So yeah, second place to Ariagi because I went the 4-star match with Ariagi I just talked about, and then all of the 3 matches 3.5. So definitely delivering. What I would say with him is he's so much better in All Japan than he is in his own promotion that I almost don't even get it at this point. But I guess it's just like the charisma thing does not stand out as much in All Japan when he's just another big guy doing big guy stuff, I guess. But and he's not asked to be the top star in the company, obviously. So, the main event in the A block, Kento Miyahara beating Rei Saito in 16:57 with the shutdown German suplex. Now, the crowd was super hot for this fucking match, which always is going to help. And they were like, just screaming for both guys the moment the bell started. We did start with the typical outside the ring brawl, so the Kento formula was in full swing. It was even goofier than usual because Kento kept selling his own head after he was headbutting Ray. And after a while, it becomes like, well, then stop doing it, buddy. Like, if it's hurting your own head, then stop. If I'm doing something that's hurting my own head, I'm going to stop doing it after a while. I don't know. But the live crowd ate it all up as usual, though. Ray fired back with the hard chops, and he threw Kento into some doors. That was pretty fun. As always, it makes no sense that the ref is not counting, especially when he has a 10 count, but whatever. I've made that complaint a million times about All Japan. And then Ray did the All Japan fan favorite spot of putting a guy up against the ring post and running into him. They really all love to do that spot. So Nicole was like watching this match with me because she couldn't sleep, and I was having to watch this match pretty late last night, trying to get through everything, and which I didn't fail to do, by the way, as we talked about. And she got a real kick out of Ray distracting the referee with nothing, when he just kind of like walked the ref to the side so he could step against Kento on the ropes, and was pointing over there like, look over there, and the ref was like, what? And they just kept looking for some reason, and there was nothing there, and Nicole was laughing pretty hard at that, so I wanted to make a note because that spot definitely got over with her. While I'm building up my Kento hater file, though, I'll go back to that again. The goofy, over-the-top selling he does, like at one point where he went like, oh, wow, like every time Ray was chopping him, really annoys me these days. But then he did finally start firing up and slug it out with Ray, which was a lot better. But again, the faces Kento was making as he was quote-unquote going out from Ray's sleeper also looked pretty corny and stupid, so one step forward, 2 steps back with him. Kento did fight his way out of the powerbomb, hit a nice flying knee, couldn't get the shutdown of the big man, easily broke free and hit his awesome slap to the face. I love that when he holds the guy's face, he just fucking slaps him. It's great. He hit the flying crossbody and a choke slam for a 2 count. He went for the powerbomb again. This time Kento dropped to the side with a sunset flip for 2. Ray then just stayed on one knee for Kento to hit with a running knee. And I hate when guys basically sell moves that weren't actually painful, or just like sell phantom moves. That was annoying to me. Ray shut him back down again with the slap again, though. Then Kento countered the palm stripe with another flying knee. Then a second knee to Ray, who at least had an actual reason to kneel this time. That got another 2 count. And finally, Kento goes for the shutdown again. Ray bites the top rope to block it, which Nicole also loved that spot. So she really becoming a Ray Saito fan here, I guess. Until Kento finally lifted him up and hit the shutdown German for the pin. I was so close to going notebook on this, but there was just enough stuff to annoy me. I went 3 3/4. Very good match. Again, still my highest rated Kento match of this tournament because he just really annoys me these days. But for Ray Saito, I mean, he's having a pretty damn good tournament. I mean, I've gone 3 3/4 on 3 of his matches now. So, he had a couple, he had a 2.5 against Odyssey that dragged him down, but it's going to drag everybody down in A block. And Odyssey's had worse matches, to be honest. So, this was a very good match, and I think Ray Saito is just one of my favorite parts of this tournament. So, definitely enjoyed the hell out of his tournament run so far.
Yeah, it's interesting. I still feel like June is the better of the two Saitos, but of all the June and Kento matches lately, I feel like this Ray match was better than most of them, if not all of them. So yeah, it's just interesting to see that play out, just how the different dynamics and styles can make for a better match.
Yeah. So that is it's definitely a cool style battle, like you said. Definitely. And I thought maybe it's the fact that it felt like it leaned a little off of the quote unquote Kento. Kento. What's the word? Kento formula. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word formula. Wow, I'm tired. It's 12.
I want to say formula, but I don't want to.
It's 12:15 a.m. as recording, and I watched a lot of wrestling today, among other things. But yes, so maybe the fact that it felt like they moved off the Kento formula a little bit when they got back in the ring, even though obviously the end of it was also very formula. So, but yeah, All Japan, good show. I'm not going to go through the standings or anything because there have been 2 more shows since that one I haven't seen yet. So we'll cover that. We'll cover those shows on next week's episode, which you'll be back for, which is cool. So, along with Chris, who I mentioned earlier, we'll do a split episode. But yeah, so we're going to get through all the Champion Carnival. Don't worry. We're going to cover both of the shows. The Night 8, which was May 3rd, and Night 9, which was, I believe, May 5th. Those are going to cover next week's episode. So next week's might be another really, really long one. So I probably we're only going 3 hours this time. So anything you want to plug before we wrap things up here, John?
No, nothing specific.
All right, cool. And folks, you can follow us on Twitter at WrestleOmakase. Wrestling Would Not Fit. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Just1MB. As mentioned, next week, John will be back with me to finally, I swear to God, cover Noah. I feel like I said at the end of every episode, we never get to it, but the first thing I'm going to watch tomorrow is this Noah Ryogoku show because I need to make sure I watch it. So yes, going to cover the Noah Ryogoku show, and I've already spoiled on the title result and the May 5th Korakuen. I've heard great things about that main event, so I am interested in watching it. So we'll cover that. We'll cover All Japan Champion Carnival Nights 8 and 9, which takes us right up to the finals. We're going to cover the Marvelous show from today, the May 5th Yokohama Buntai. I'm covering that with Chris, along with the Sendai Girls May 9th Shinkiba show. I'm going to try to get to Ice Ribbon's May 10th show. I might do that by myself. We'll see. And then John has also agreed to cover the DDT, King of DDT second round, as well as Dragon Gate's May 8th Korakuen. So a lot of stuff next week. It might be another really long episode, especially since I'm recording it in 2 parts, but or possibly 3 parts. But well, you guys never complain about the 5-hour episodes, so I assume you must like them. But yeah, no need for a sicko word this week. Going 3 hours might be long for some podcasts. It's not long for us. In the meantime, folks, I guess that's it, and we'll see you next time.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on the good, the bad, and the hungy every week on the Voices of Wrestling Network.